Hey, so today I want to go over the what I'm going to call political theater of the COVID-19 sort of aftermath, basically. Um, this is political theater at its finest. We're going to hear a lot of things that sound good, but I really highly doubt anything will actually happen from this. It would be nice if it did, but why hasn't it happened already? You know what I mean? So I happen to like Rand Paul. Rand Paul took the same stance the whole time, but for example, this guy here, everything you hear is going to sound awesome, but ask yourself what's really going to happen. Let's examine other health crises that have happened. The chemical spills in Palestine, Palestine, Ohio, nothing happened there. The water in Flint, Michigan, nothing happened there. This is a little bit more public, but I don't really see much happening here. Uh, I really don't, because if the only thing that may happen is people may throw Fauci under the bus, people that benefited from it. So that is one thing that could happen. Let's see some of the dialogue here. This is from July 29th. But we have another one from today, fresh off the presses.
Pandemic, you got rich, didn't you? You got rich while people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. And not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally. Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you? That's a question.
On the advice of counsel,
So we're going to see a lot of him just pleading the fifth. I might actually start off with the Rand Paul one first. Sorry about that. Because this actually happened a few hours ago. Let me make sure. It's PBS, but I think I have to speed it up anyways. I happen to like Rand Paul. I liked Ron Paul. I voted for him once. But they're not really part of the kind of elite class, so they're not really going to get much done.
Americans died from COVID-19. Some estimate as many as 15 million people died worldwide from COVID-19. Publicly, Anthony Fauci promoted the theory that the virus arose naturally, while privately, he was well aware of a mountain of evidence suggesting the virus originated in the lab. The American people deserve...
Hey, C-Grip, do you have any COVID, or we'll call it C-19?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have it? How were you personally affected? I want to make sure people talk about their story on this one. You were in the banking industry? How did that affect you?
Yeah, so I was actually a field advisor at the time, and so in the healthcare sector, and so a major hospital chain in North Jersey. I was the advisor for my organization that would go there, and I would have the accumulation part of the retirement planning process conversation with them. Am I saving enough? Am I diversified enough? Am I taking on the appropriate amount of risk for whatever my income or asset goal at that time? And so I would literally be meeting with doctors, nurses, the janitor, the cleaning people, so the whole staff. In this hospital had like 17 locations. Well, I went from having 6 or more meetings a day to 0. Like I would be lucky to get. We were not allowed on campus, so there was no more face-to-face meetings, and so we tried to switch to virtual, which was non-existent because we couldn't communicate with them unless it was because it was unless it was cough related, couldn't communicate with them. So my job ended up doing gave a lot of us buyouts because we didn't know when this was going to end, what was going on, and when you're in the healthcare, it's ground zero. But on top of that, I'm single, no kids, I live alone, I'm in a triplex, and so now you can't go anywhere. Gyms were closed, everything.
Yeah.
And then and actually I was
And did
actually
you have an
scheduled.
online community? You probably didn't have like an online community like this at the
No.
time.
Oh, hell
Yeah,
no.
because I
Hell
didn't.
no.
I didn't do anything really online. Kind of wish I did back then. It would have been
Yeah.
helpful, but
Yeah, it would have been
I didn't.
totally different. I had no one. In all honesty, I had no one. And so it's just me and with my thoughts. And as you already know, some strange shit's be going through my head.
Yeah.
And, and so it was very hard. And on top of, and then speaking of that, and then the cracks started appearing in mine and my ex-fiance's relationship, because I was actually scheduled the last week in March. I was scheduled to fly out to DR, and 2 days before my flight, the country was locked down. And like,
Yeah,
why can you wait to get locked down after I was there?
that would have been a nice place to be. You could be
Oh
in the
my
sun
goodness.
and everything. That would. They probably didn't really give a damn there.
Oh no, once you were there, yeah, it was locked down. But I know several brothers that were there during the whole cough and the lockdown. Let's just put it, they were like kids in candy stores.
Yeah.
Talk, talk, let's just say the price the price of the brick really dropped. And so
Oh my god.
oh yeah, it was
Kids in a
insane.
nose candy store.
Exactly. And so
I didn't know you could ski in the DR.
well well they were skiing in Punani. As a matter
Okay.
of fact, one dude, he had this model chick that he had been trying to get with for like months and months, like almost a year. Wouldn't give him the time of day. And when the cough happened, next thing you know, hola papi, ¿cómo está?
Yeah.
¿Qué pasa? Because like I said, tourists dropped, revenue dropped. They got hit too really bad. So with me, that literally exposed cracks in my relationship with my ex. But on top of that, it was pretty much you're in your I'm in my apartment all day. And on top of that, when you are an advisor, you have goals. You have meeting goals. You have asset goals. And now you're like, what are they going to fire us? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
It was a very stressful time. And on top of that, we're in meetings, literally 2-3 meetings a day with with management on what can we do to turn around, how can we get more meetings and stuff like that. And that's stressful. So I took the buyout, and so that was tough. And so I left the country. So I took the buyout and I left the country, and life got better. Of course, the relationship ended, the ex-fiance, but even then, I was there during COVID, and so when I was in Santo Domingo, I lived in several different cities. I'm out here partying, drinking, sloring, and just having a blast. Never got sick once.
Well.
Well, I got food poisoning, but not the cough. So I got food poisoning. I ate a bad clam. So guys, remember, scratch, sniff, or you got to tap it. Clam 101, you got to tap it. But other than that, a blast. And then I ended up leaving for Colombia, and because Colombia was about to shut down their COVID was about to make the test compliant, where you had to be vaccinated or
Yeah.
into the country.
Yeah.
And so I ended up getting there about a week or two before they implemented the vaccination. And so I spent several months. I spent like 6 months out there, and and it was
Gain your
awesome.
health because you're in the sun too.
I'm in the sun. I'm out
Places that
there.
had more sun and acted a little bit normal, they weren't really getting crazy sick. Like South America didn't have
No,
a ton of these breakouts, really.
but here's the crazy part. So mind you, I mean, you see a lot of you see a lot of the photos. I was not a wallflower, and
Yeah.
didn't catch the cough once. Um, when I made the decision to come back to this country, um, within 2 months. Now, mind you, it's crazy here, and my job, they required you to have the shots. Now, fortunately, I was able. I didn't. I never got the shot. I was able to pay for to get on the to have it listed that I am. So if you go into the database, you see that
Oh.
technically. So I was and so I had my card, but literally,
You're able just to kind of get around it.
yeah, yeah.
Well.
Look,
Nice. That's
look,
nice though.
look, pimp speed pimping. Well,
Yeah.
well, what ended up happening was within 2 months. Now, mind you, now I'm back here. I'm back in the mix of things, and now it's just going to work, coming home, and then maybe going to Costco. And literally within 2 months of me being back here, I catch the cough.
Yeah. Well, because the people here aren't as healthy, and you're probably more closer together and stuff like that. In tighter spaces and stuff like that. Who knows? I think I just had it actually one time.
Just one.
I Yeah, I just
You
had it
had it
one time
multiple times.
actually.
Okay, there are people who had
Yeah,
it multiple times.
yeah, yeah. There are
Hmm.
people who had it multiple times. So I had it. My friend, someone that works for me, went to like it's kind of around like the September or late September or something. He went to go visit his family and check on some businesses and like stuff he owns in Russia and stuff like that. But then when he came back, he was kind of working for me, and I caught like kind of maybe the Russian one of it, and
Mm.
you felt like you got like hit by a bus basically, but for like a week. But then it went away, so I just pretty much stayed in my house. I think he had it. Another time before. That's actually kind of how I became friends with him because I lived at this place and we started going shooting together, but then we weren't really close friends. But then he had it, and I was like, hey man, I can bring some groceries like to your apartment door and just leave them at there or something like that. And then we kind of became friends after that. So I have had it. I don't really think it's that crazy of a deal. I kind of was pretty much living life the same way that I was before that. I know in my area, I was living more kind of in Manchester, New Hampshire at the time, and a lot of people really weren't wearing masks and
Hmm.
stuff like that. They just kind of really didn't give a shit. They kind of were a little bit anti-authority. Mom and pop places didn't like it. In fact, places that were kind of not really paying attention to that, I think, got more business because it's like people wanted to feel a little bit more sane and safe. So I think some mom and pop like small like corner store type like like a smaller like mini grocery store type thing. I'm not really sure exactly what you would call it. Um so that it was interesting to do that. It was interesting to see how different people would react. I was fortunate that at the time I was working at I was still doing tree work, but I was kind of doing like a logging project, like clearing like this farm for this guy, and they were like never home, and he didn't really give a damn.
Hmm.
So I had, instead of what I mean, having to like deal with 15 customers over that amount of time, I could just deal with basically like one, and not even, he would actually just like leave a check out for me, or his wife would, or something like that. So
It was
that was
insane.
really good to have the outlet to just not be home, because
Hmm.
I was just so blessed to be able to kind of go to work. And I was gonna say, like, I kind of took all back roads and stuff to get to
Hmm.
where I needed to go. I didn't really go on the highway, because I think if I did go on the highway or something like that, they may have been like, what are you doing? I would say like I'm doing agricultural work or something. I would have tried to say something like that. Um, so I tried to work more when I could, and I never like turned down any work or anything like that. But it was certainly difficult. I didn't take the shot, but my brother is pretty was pretty high up in like a pharma company at the time. I think that they were actually that like brand, they had one, so he was able to kind of get it early. I remember he was excited to get it early because I think the fiance or something at the time, his dad was a doctor, and he was able to get it like way earlier than everybody else. I
And
think
so
they distributed it to doctors first.
it was
And they
insane.
loved it. They loved it. They were like they wanted the booster and all
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, I know people who did
They
it,
loved
and
it.
it was insane. And for me personally, my thought process, it was just insane because, you would think that here in America we have the right to choose. And
Hmm.
I actually lost friends or got distance from friends because of my stance. Because
Yeah,
for
me too.
me,
Yep.
my thought process was, look, yes, pandemics, that's something to take serious, but no, this is not outbreak. This is not the outbreak monkey or anything like that. At the end of the day, you're looking at something that disproportionately impacts the elderly and the morbidly obese. And when it comes to you being young, healthy, and everything along those lines, and so when you're looking at something that has literally less than a 2% mortality rate, and that's what it was, less than 2% mortality rate.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
disproportionately the elderly and the sick, and people who already had compromised immune
Hey,
systems.
hello.
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on, brother?
Oh, thanks for having me. Is my audio
Sure.
okay?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's very clear. You want to
Oh,
just
brilliant.
get right
Thank
into
you.
get right into your experience with it? You can just go ahead and take
Mhm.
the floor if you want and say what your experiences were with it, and whatever you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can let if you want to finish off first, though, mate, I don't want to cut you off.
No, I was
Oh
just
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that.
See
Yeah,
Griffin finish, sure.
yeah. The point that, my point was that no, this is not what's going to take us out. And we're going to shut down the world and wreck the economy on something that had literally a 97% survival rate.
Exactly. And I
And
yeah, and I just want to show and again, this is kind of more about our experiences, not totally about Fauci, but I had this in the Discord last week, and I just want to show a little bit about sort of his history and how he's sort of been the same character over a long time. This just to be brief right here. Then we'll get to the other guy.
We're talking about probably the most horrible scandal and scam ever perpetrated, not only in the name of science, but in humanity and in all history. Today is December 7th, and I was 12 years old when the attack on Pearl Harbor came, and I remember World War II very well. And it's a very significant day today because I see an incredible parallel between what is going on in the so-called AIDS epidemic and what happened in the years preceding and resulting in World War II. The great lie of Hitler. It's amazing. I think he would envy the job being done by members of the National Institutes of Health and even the media, especially in this country. And I will put the lie to the individuals of the NIH, particularly Gallo and Fauci and Hazeltine and Essex and the rest of these scoundrels of the worst order. Criminals guilty of genocide, without a doubt. I invite them to take me to court. I wish Burroughs Wellcome would take me to court because they have been putting out a killer drug knowingly.
See, oh shit, damn it! I didn't mean to do that. I think I'll still play. But you see how history is repeating itself here?
Because in a court of law, I would have the opportunity to provide the absolute proof and evidence, as I have in my book, Deadly Deception.
Question is, did he survive?
Now, I'm not alone in what I'm...
No, he actually shot himself in the back of the head twice with a shotgun. It's probably
Oh, yeah, what a terrible suicide. I can't believe he did that.
Yeah. Let's actually let him finish though. Then we'll.
I'm doing here today. How does the press escape such obvious truths? Why would the finest virologist in the world, the most noted virologist, member of our National Academy of Sciences, Peter Duesberg, why would he put his entire career on the line? What did he have to gain? He's already lost his laboratory and his funding. They can't take away his professorship because he's tenured.
So that's Fauci has been a swamp creature for a long time, and oh shit, sorry, something messed up here.
It's all right.
Hang on a second, let me get it back to where it was, and then we'll leave up Rand Paul. I like Rand Paul. I voted for Ron Paul once. I like him. So I don't know how to, Barno.
Oh, you can just say bear. It is a mouthful.
Oh yeah, Bear. Yeah. You want to share your experience, or was it positive, negative? What happened to you, or what's upsetting? What you think should happen here, or say whatever you want. Basically, try to like code the language like a little bit and not swear.
Oh yeah, don't worry. I won't do. Yeah, don't worry about that.
I don't care about it personally, but
yeah, it's for your channel.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah,
appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. But no, when it was like when COVID hit, I understand the concern and if you have to take precautions. But my main thing at the time, especially because it was Trump in office in America at the time, and for us it was Boris Johnson. For me, my concern was economy. When COVID was ongoing at the time, the economy was actually not too bad because Trump and Boris were doing their best to keep it afloat. Like a lot of people criticize Trump for lack of doing anything, but I say no, Trump was doing the right thing because he was keeping the economy afloat. And the only way to do that is take risks. Because if you shut down an entire country, like if Trump just locked down the entire country, you're going to come off the back of lockdown and like a carton of milk is going to cost $10.
Never catch up. Yeah, you'll never catch up. Yeah.
Like that's the precaution you have to take. Yeah, it's not an easy choice, but at the end of the day, it's either do you save everyone, but at the end of it, it's just hyperinflation, or have you got to take a risk to keep the economy going?
Yeah, I think Trump was more open to taking a risk than he's. Trump will put money over human beings at any time, so that actually kind of like helped us a little bit. Like, like that actually sort of helped a little bit. And he was a little bit more liberal, more of Republican or right-wing people seemed to be a little bit more liberal in this sense, whether you get the shot or not, and what you can do with your business, and what you want to do with your own body, in a sense. So we kind of saw a little bit of an inversion of what it might normally be, because you think some of the right-wing people would be like, everyone's got a right wing, extreme right wing in the sense of like fascism or something like that. And it really wasn't that, because I think, again, I'm only speaking for United States here, but I think there's probably a little bit more people who are business owners and whatnot who tend to be a little bit more right wing or just conservative. And they're like, I have to have my business open. I want to be able to operate. I can't do anything without it. So they really, really need. I was one of those people. I was self-employed, so it's like I need to be able to operate, or else I'm cooked here. And if we don't have any of that blood flowing, it's a blood clot in the body politic, or the economy of the country, and you won't really catch up with it. Once that happens, then they're like, oh, we can slow the supply chain down. They don't need as much food or gas, and the demand will fall a little bit because they're making it fall. But then to get it back up again, it would be very difficult. It could have been really a complete disaster. Like, it wasn't handled properly, but it really could have been worse. So Trump, I think that's a really good point. Trump was a little bit more open to being, hey, we need these businesses to run, because I mean, people, it's like, well, what else are they really going to do anyways? you know. So they kind of had to, like, I had to do that. Like, luckily I had a steady client at the time, so I didn't have to go to like. So basically, I was cutting trees at this one place, which is like a farm that was like, I could work there almost the whole winter. So like that was really good for me. But if I had to do individual jobs, I might have had to do like 20 individual jobs to replace that one. And certain customers, so like certain customers didn't care at all. Certain ones are like, hey, I can just like, stand in your yard and point out the tree or something like that. So you had to kind of try to make them comfortable to break the rules. But I think if you were an entrepreneur, you're like, I'm not going to let this really stop me. I think it was some cases a little bit of an opportunity because you're like, well, if no one else is going to operate, I'm going to try to break the rules and operate and take those customers, or take it as a, that Chinese saying, like, there are no problems, only opportunities. Some people started to see it that way. It just was in a very constricted environment.
Let's put it this way: we discovered who the real goose steppers are.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too. We saw all the women were hypocrites. My body, my choice. That didn't count. That didn't matter, did it? Huh? When you said you didn't want to do it,
Yeah,
you
funny
didn't
how that
trust
works
it.
out.
Yeah, exactly. They became very tyrannical. So, like I've said before, if there's someone who had like a low level of power, almost like a doorman or something like that, they would abuse their power like a petty tyrant to make sure that you took the shot and all this stuff. They were absolutely loving that. So some people really loved it, and it showed how much of a tyrant they were. I remember this one lady was saying once, she's like, if they're not going to get it, put them on a train and send them to a re-education camp. Because that's how it should be. Like, that's how serious they were taking it. And it's just like,
Yeah, do you not see the irony in what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. And but the thing is, she didn't see that. And a lot of people had such a bipolar, binary attitude towards it. And it's almost like, I lost a group of friends too. I was supposed to go on like a snowboarding trip to Colorado with these group of people, and I was the only one that didn't, take the shot. And they kept trying to like fish for questions if I did it or not and everything, and I just like pretty much wouldn't answer. But it gets to a point, if you're kind of not answering, they're like, okay, I think we kind of know. And then it's like all of a sudden you're not good enough to be around them or something like that. So it kind of showed that it was, for a lot of people, it was a purity test. For a lot of people, it was something they could sell out for. Like, I knew some people, or I had an ex, and she's like, I didn't take it the whole time, but I really wanted to go to this festival, so I ended up taking the shot to go to the festival. It's like, you're part of the problem that made people get it more. You're supposed to, like, sort of boycott those things till they change the rules. Like that's what I did. And I did lie about it a few times, or just not say anything. Because I remember a few times I maybe went to like a bar or something like that, and they just kind of had you write your name down. But I did write kind of my name down, but I just gave like bullshit phone number and all that, because it wasn't like an official, piece of paper. So I like, don't ever just freely give information away to the government and stuff when you can, because it, I think this was largely a test to see how we would respond as a public, and we gave up a lot of power and didn't give a damn. We, really, we turned on the turning on each other was just as bad as the disease, if not more.
Yes.
Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was almost as bad as that. And it also didn't really, we didn't walk away much better from it. The CDC was used.
Whoa, with snowboard. Unless you were already rich. So if you were already rich and an investor in Amazon, Walmart, Zoom, and if you were
Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, toilet paper companies or whatever,
you made out like a bandit.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too. The PPP loans were one of the biggest transfers of wealth in like the past 100 years.
Don't even get me started on that.
So that was a whole other level of corruption that I even kind of like forgot about that. So that's another thing why they're only bringing this up now, because enough amnesia has set in.
Hmm.
The average American or person has about a 2 weeks memory. So if you ask them what happened 3 weeks ago in the news cycle or something, they don't actually know. And it's kind of designed to be that way because you have an onslaught of information, like a 24/7 news cycle and everything. So like, and I'm not saying I'm any better than that, but that's kind of the way that it's designed. So enough time has gone past that I think this is just theater here. Like Ron Paul and that other guy are going to say everything that you want to hear. They're coming for his head. But like nothing happens. Did anything happen in Flint, Michigan water? No. Did anything happen in the East Palestine train chemical spill? Remember how when Mayor Pete was in, there was a chemical spill and train derailments like every week?
Oh, yeah.
No one got in any trouble then. So you
What
would
are folks out in Nashville?
you would only get in trouble if you didn't take the shot and you were saying I still want to work at my job or something like that, or if you said the word ivermectin, you were cooked.
Hmm.
That was terrible. And so I think the people. So I would like to see Fauci, something happen, and I want to see certain news media people held accountable for saying things like doctors. If any one of them said, "Oh, it's horse pace," I want to see something happen to you. It's like,
Thank
well,
you.
you're not a doctor, so you can't even say that. You're not a doctor or a vet or anything. So don't, you saying that is wait a second.
You're not qualified.
Yeah, neither are they. So like that's another. So that's one other thing that I wanted to mention. We're not really any better off in the sense that we are more solution based. So if this were to happen again, they're just going to say the same thing, like wear a mask, wash your hands, and do this. Nothing about vitamin D, zinc, getting sunlight, getting exercise. Like they should have had gyms. They should actually been like making people go to the gym.
Silver.
Yeah, the silver in the water, colloidal silver, all these things, even just zinc. Zinc was one of the main things that they were using in a ton of it because zinc goes in. So whenever like you have a virus, like our bodies always have a certain amount of viruses in there, but that viral load is low. Zinc goes in and stops the copying machine of the virus to replicate itself very fast and get out of hand. Sorry about this.
No, it's all right.
So
Damn.
like that's part of it where we're not really any better. I think certain people have taken better care of their health, but it showed that we're not healthy countries. We're eating sugary food. We're overweight. I know that in my state they left the liquor stores and open, and people were just drunk I was drunk all the time.
Well,
That's
you know
how
why.
you actually beat COVID a little bit, by getting drunk.
You know why? If you pacify the populace, they can't get mad and turn on you.
Exactly. Yeah, they're like, oh, you can have as much weed and liquor as you want. We'll have just bring it to your door. So like that was a thing that it was to pacify the public.
Yeah, there would have been
and it
riots all
worked.
over.
What's the old quote? Give them bread and circus.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's it. It was a mess with a lot of things, and so let's see a little bit what Rand Paul has to say, who did actually work in hospitals during this. So I liked Ron Paul, which is his dad, and then Rand Paul. I actually think I like their libertarian mindset, and that might work for Kentucky, but like he thinks. We'll just see what he says here. But this again. This is going to sound great, but it's probably just going to be political theater. And I haven't seen this. I think this happened 6 hours ago today.
Deserve answers. The American people deserve to know why dangerous research was funded by NIAID in a totalitarian country in a lab that lacked acceptable safety standards. The decision to fund dangerous gain-of-function research in Wuhan, China, will likely go down in history as perhaps one of the worst public health decisions. Frankly, the American people deserve an apology. I hope today Dr. Fauci will come clean, admit it was a mistake to fund dangerous research in China, admit that the risk of this dangerous research exceeded any possible benefits, ask forgiveness, and pledge to help our government devise safeguards so a man-made epidemic never happens again. Instead of an apology, you have for years avoided responsibility. Regarding the lockdowns, you argue that you did not.
Well, of course he's avoided responsibility because no one's holding him accountable either. No one's doing anything. No one's holding lawsuits against him or anything like that. I think Biden kind of pardoned him or something. I might be wrong, but I think he was able to give some type of political like immunity to him or something.
I think the Justice Department's going after that auto pen.
Yeah, that would be good. But like, I would like to see this guy. I think a lot of people would. I mean, there's a lot of people who lost their businesses, they lost their job, families were split apart, all because of this one guy and saying trust the science. Well, there's more science than he just knows. Like, for example, like when they're talking about the ivermectin that actually did help a lot of people. Japan and India are having great results with ivermectin. I think they have 60.
Trust our science, not their science.
Yeah. So like, and they would censor anyone for even talking about it. So it's like, how are we supposed to have an adult conversation about anything when you're not even letting someone say like the word? So it was really, really, like it was basically soft fascism in a sense. But here's the thing: half the people loved it. Like that's the part that's even worse. Like half the people kind of liked it.
Yeah.
No, it isn't soft. Remove the word soft and you'll have the more accurate assessment.
Yeah, it's basically the beginnings of fascism, and and thought crimes too. They're like, I don't want you thinking that you can heal yourself in a different way besides what Pfizer tells you and stuff.
Yeah,
like
nothing soft about it.
Yeah, the media is owned by Pfizer and these big pharma companies. If you were to watch CNN, what commercials would you see? Wegovy, yeah. Every commercial, like 80% of the commercials of that. Anderson Cooper's paycheck is 80% from big pharma companies, 20% from CNN, and he actually puts in a lot of time at CNN, but he's actually, indirectly working for the pharma company. So anytime, like, you can't say anything bad about pharma on mainstream news. It's like the worst thing for them.
Not personally issue every lockdown order, close every school, or impose every mandate. But officials across the
this is sped up a little bit.
country invoked your authority to justify these decisions. And you presented your recommendations not as judgments open to debate, but as dictates of science itself. Your own words demonstrate that you understood the influence you exercised. On March 14th, 2020, you wrote that the task force recommendations were driven by me, yourself, Deb, and CDC. The next day, you wrote that you had convinced Mayor Bill de Blasio to close the New York City schools.
And let's see this jerk off Bill de Blasio right here for a second. This is who he's talking about. This was a shame. Remember, you get like a free cheeseburger and fries if you get the shot. So he was mayor of New York at the time.
Cash.
Yeah, this was bad. This is a shill if I've ever seen it. Watch this. And this guy here, this sign language guy, should just be giving you like dual middle fingers the entire time.
Going to help us out. And did you say free fries when you get vaccinated? I got vaccinated. You're saying I could get this? These delicious fries?
Do you see how they mock you?
Wait a minute. Also a burger element to this?
Yeah, having a burger, you obese nation of.
Dance, my little monkeys, dance.
Yeah.
Well, the thing could I say as well, though, it's not even just about just the science. It's about personal choice. Because if one person gets the vaccine and another person doesn't, that's their choice. And now if they get sick and pass away from it, it's sad, but that was their choice. It shouldn't be imposed upon you, because once you open the door to that, then you could open the door to, a lot of stuff. It's like if someone goes, I eat 10 chocolate bars a day, and you go, you need to stop that. We need to bring in powers to stop him from doing that. It's like, no, it's their choice.
Well, here's what I thought was ironic. You see how these chicks go up in arms about
my body, my
anything.
choice about deleting a baby.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
And which is even more ironic because they're deleting a body that's not their body. If you think about it, they're deleting a body that's supposed to not even be their body. It's in their body, but going to leave their body. So you're making a choice for it to not even come out of you.
Gentlemen, check this out. I'm a New Jersey expat. I just posted a couple of stats as far as number of pharmaceutical companies. Check in the chat.
Estimate number of pharmaceutical companies in New Jersey vary by data set and scope and range. Holy crap. Wow. Well, New Jersey is a very industrial type state. So I'm not surprised about that. Well, every time you drive into New Jersey when it smells like shit, that's because it's like all chemicals. They're like poisons and shit. They just like burn off into the air and throw into rivers.
Yeah, that's Central and North Jersey. I grew up in the agricultural South Jersey, which they call,
which I heard is pretty nice, actually.
Deep South Jersey. Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah, New Jersey is globally recognized as the major hub, hosting 14 of 20 large pharmaceutical companies in the world, including Merck, Johnson & Johnson, and Bristol Myers Squibb. Never heard of Bristol Myers Squibb, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, so the let me just finish this. But you see how they're mocking you?
Yeah.
Like the cheeseburger and the fries are also why you're sick and obese and everything. And I'm not saying I'm in the best shape, but like, obesity was like, think about how sick this is. When they're doing this, they knew that obesity was one of the higher risks to help you, that would make you more sick and susceptible to this. And here's French fries and a cheeseburger, and this is like 9:30 in the morning too.
Too early in the day to eat a burger. No.
Yeah.
This could be breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, it's for breakfast.
I want you to look at this and think about
getting fat.
Some people love hamburgers, some don't. Really want to respect all ways of life. But if this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination. Vaccination. I'm getting a very good feeling.
Oh my God.
About vaccination.
I heard a rumor.
Someone on a club with a Louisville Slugger.
I heard a rumor that he makes the same sound when his boyfriend puts a finger in his behind.
Yeah.
So he's
and he calls his boyfriend the Hamburglar.
Yeah.
He's actually married to a B-dub.
Oh, so
he is?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So he probably makes the same sound.
Yeah. He can't be saved.
So then he probably makes the same sound when she has her heels in his balls.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right
Yeah, but that whole like, well, get vaxxed and get like a free meal or something, that's just carrot and a stick. That's the same as like, hey, if you sell out your family, we'll give you this, we'll give you some money type stuff.
Exactly. Well, what is it here? So they're going to ask you for your papers. Okay, here's your papers. So you sold out for like a cheeseburger and French fries. Like,
yeah.
think it's just, to me, this is like them mocking you. But this probably worked beautifully. I mean, if you're homeless or something, I can see why maybe you did it. But the ironic thing is the only people who are going to be living after all this is homeless people. They don't need any vaccines or anything. They just like are unstoppable somehow.
Thank you.
I like when Judas sold out Jesus, so he got a bit more than a cheeseburger.
Yeah, it's like for some people too. Like I didn't quite view it as selling my soul per se. I didn't take it, but I don't quite view it as selling my soul per se. But I did view it as selling out my personal freedom and things that I value and certain like I'm fortunate that I was self-employed, but I would have lost the job. I'd be like, you know what? I'm okay to lose a job because I believe this is the right thing to do. I'm just not going to do it. I think I have a picture. Another thing where there was this I think this is the stand-up comedian. Remember, there's a woman who was talking shit about it, shitty
Oh,
stand-up.
and then she passed out on
Yeah,
stage. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I think it might have been that video.
Yeah, I remember who you mean. I forget her name.
Yeah. That's like the funniest female stand-up I've seen too. I don't know why I can't find it here. It's not like showing the picture of it, but I think you guys have seen it. So like that's another thing too. We are still having to deal with all the aftermath of it. So I was watching this today, and this is going to show you a little bit. This is going to be pretty telling here.
You have been placed.
I'm going to have to. It was actually pretty good. I didn't actually finish it all, but I want to say a couple things here. So number one, this is CNN. We know who their motives are. We know, that they are owned by pharma companies and their shills and all that. But people seem to like it. Yeah. But we have RFK here, and he's good, right? He's always the one questioning the vaccines and stuff. Yes and no. He's a Kennedy. He's an elite. He's a Kennedy. He's a Kennedy. A Kennedy is a Kennedy is a Kennedy. So that's part of the problem here. And I want you to think about this. He's been doing this job for, I don't know, 2.5, 3 years. What has he done except tell you Tylenol might contribute to autism?
And they're from your neighboring state.
Yeah, I still have. There's still Red 40 in all the drinks. There's glyphosates everywhere. There's, what has actually changed? Tylenol sales probably went up. I guarantee he probably had stock in Tylenol, and waited for it to go up or something like that. So that's what I'm saying. This is theater. RFK is going to say some things that you like and agree with, but it's like, well, what has actually he done? You know what I mean? He's been in the position of authority to do a lot here. Has anything happened? Have Campbell's Chicken Soup been in trouble for the guy admitting they put 3D printed chicken in there?
Nope.
Did anything happen with that? That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's theater. So they want you to have faith in RFK. He says some of the right things. He may even have a half decent intention himself, but it's just not. I'm not seeing anything happen. So I want you to keep that in mind during this debate. And I know his voice is, his voice alone starts making you sick too. I guess so.
But he is jacked. You should see him lift weights and stuff. He's jacked.
Yeah. So that makes him cool, and he's healthy and but guys, he's an elite. He's a Kennedy. The Kennedy family and the Onassis family are very powerful. They're a low level, not quite like a Rothschild, but JP Morgan type level stuff.
Check out my description in the chat.
Yeah, let me go to it.
The last one.
Bufferin. Yeah, no, I just want to read this one too because I have to look up other ones. Excedrin. So Bufferin and Excedrin were former Bristol Myers Squibb brands, now divested. Mass. Pills? I'm not quite getting it.
Holes.
Oh, it's a mass holes. Okay. Yeah, they are mass holes. Yeah, from the Cape. Yeah, they're terrible. Yeah, they are from kind of some sort of from where I spawned from. So, so just watch part of this here, and just it's theater. But that's what's going to happen in Congress. So it's going to seem like, we're really making progress here. Finally, we're going to hold them accountable.
Nearly all the blame on the COVID pandemic and the way that the U.S. responded to it squarely with Dr. Fauci. But of course, he worked for President Trump. Does President Trump also deserve some of the blame?
Well, President Trump, as you recall, wanted to end the lockdowns. I think the thing that did the most damage to our country was the lockdowns that shut down 3.5 million businesses in our country with no due process, no just compensation. All of our churches closed, our schools, and our children are still paying the price for that.
His voice is easier with it speeded up.
The worst outcome of any country in the world.
How so?
We have the highest death rate from COVID of any nation on earth.
Well, let me just say, because I've heard you say that before on the death rate from COVID. It's not accurate because public health experts say that there is a combination of factors that went into that: higher rates of chronic illnesses, which I know you would agree with, gaps to our healthcare system, and misinformation about vaccines.
You just said what I said was inaccurate. What I said was
She's
accurate.
gaslighting.
We had the highest death rate from COVID.
Yeah, she's going to be gaslighting the entire time like crazy, but she's always going to be in defense of the big pharma interests here. So they're always going to be like the pro-vax. Now, if it was like a pro-testosterone shot or something, they'd be like, no, okay, we actually don't need this. Like something like that. They'll be like, we don't actually want this.
Right.
If it was an injection of high dose vitamin C, oh no, we can't have high dose vitamin C and things like that, even though they're cheap. We can't do that. The science isn't out there yet. Actually, it is.
Damn skeleton with a wig.
Yeah.
Well, there are
Skeletor.
There are other countries that had higher, but
you can
go ahead.
argue about why we had that, but nobody can tell you. I mean, we have, as you say, we have the highest chronic disease burden in the world. But Anthony Fauci was mismanaging the COVID pandemic and was doing it under the Biden administration. President Trump wanted to end the lockdowns. And in fact, in Anthony Fauci's diaries, he talks about how President Trump is calling.
So what is he talking about, these diaries? Okay, it's not like a autobiography book. Fauci was kind of like fucking off on the job and like typing his own diaries and thoughts and kind of like logging his day and stuff on a bunch of computer servers that people now have access to. So he kind of like told on himself a whole bunch of stuff like that. So that's kind of why some of these hearings are out, because there's a lot of damning evidence against him for that he personally was saying. And it's not something they had to get with a search warrant. This is Freedom of Information Act that finally they're able to get, because they were like, making it so difficult to get. So another thing that I want you to understand, Fauci has been working in American government his whole life, like the past 40 years, I think he's retired now, but he's a swamp creature. Like he's doing like basically what he's kind of supposed to do, essentially. He got a lot of attention, so he started doing his own personal interests a little bit. But he's always been a shill, like I said, since that AIDS thing. That guy was saying, he's like, they're evil. They actually know what they're doing. And if so, there's a couple things going on here. People that work in government are not always like some evil genius. A ton of times they're actually just incompetent and shills. Like that's actually most of the time. It's not they're like, hey, I get my secret eugenics plan and no one will see it. You know what I mean? It's not shit like that. Some of them, yes. Like George Soros type people and stuff like that, absolutely. But a lot of people are just simply, what did they say about those World War II people? Oh, well, they're just doing what they're told. Well, it's like, yeah, but that's also not great. So a lot of it is also that too, that the people are just kind of incompetent and have no morals. They're a little bit soulless, and they're just saying, well, hey, I got to protect my family, so to hell with everyone else. So like there is some of that was going on this whole time, but that's still not good. Like this was a time where we should have been able to kind of reward the people that said, no, I'm actually going to stand up for my values and something I believe in. And that takes courage. And I'm going to, even if I have to be outcasted, be ridiculed, lose friends, like this was a test to do that. And a lot of people just simply really didn't give a shit. And in fact, they're going to shame them for actually standing up for what they believe in. So if you were ever in a group or something like things where I was, where I said, I'm not going to get this. I'm just going to actually be healthy on my own. And if, I get taken out from it, that's on me. And I said too, like, I haven't had it yet. You guys have all been sick with it.
Because I say as well,
I'm healthier. Sure. Yeah.
So when you were saying then where these people who stood up for what they were believing and they were ridiculed and outcast, the same thing happened at a certain point in Germany. I won't say the word on stream, but you know what I mean. These people who stood up against a certain regime were outcasted and ridiculed.
Yeah, exactly. Look what the small hats did to Jesus. but that's part of the way that it goes. This guy writes in. I met Joe. I heard he's very short, and he was wearing even lifty lifter boots. And he said that he's actually got shorter after getting COVID. Perhaps, yeah. You know who's like that too is Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's like not a midget, but he's like way shorter than you really would think.
Mm.
He's like they show him as like some odontist, like yeah, he's wide and stuff like that, but he's like pretty short. But you know, Hollywood makes it not seem like that. So
Yeah,
I
that's
like
your freedoms.
yeah. I used to like the Joe Rogan podcast, but kind of when he had more used to have like comedians on and stuff, like when he first had started it, which is a really long time ago now. But I think he's compromised. As soon as he started saying he's like, I think AI is going to be like Jesus kind of, you know, when he was saying that was pitched to him by Peter Thiel and all those people, I believe. Like that's who he's hanging out with is Elon Musk and shit like that. So that, you know, not every day he's hanging out with them, but he's spent a lot of time with them. You think they're not trying to get into his ear and get into his head and giving him incentives to do things?
And he's also started taking himself too seriously.
Yeah, he's not even a comedian anymore. And he also, like, anytime someone will kind of push back on something, he kind of will just like kind of simp to the official narrative and stuff. So like you know, I'm not really a big fan. I was never really a giant fan of it because it just be kind of like getting high and talking bullshit. Because a lot of times you wouldn't actually like come away learning anything. They would just be kind of like randomly talking about stuff. So it seemed like it a little bit, but it was not like, you know,
neuron activation.
Yeah. It, like, you know how like a Snapple cap would have like a fun fact on it? It was kind of just a bunch of shit like that. You know,
Yeah,
but
that's a good analogy.
sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You saw Tom Cruise in Clearwater. Yeah, he's very short. Yeah. It was short and well, it doesn't seem like him. Well, he's like, I wouldn't be surprised, you know, because you can't tell me he's not taken bribes and stuff like that, or been offered bribes to say things on a show or steer things a certain way and have certain guests on and stuff like that. Like he'll have like Neil deGrasse Tyson on, who's like a fake scientist, and he'll be like, Neil deGrasse Tyson's awesome. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson is basically like a high school level like shitty science teacher for like stoners. He's not like an authority in the field. No one considers him authority in the field at all. But that's who we like look to is stuff like that. So like, you know, a lot of what his podcast is becoming is a way for CIA people to get in there. He'll have CIA people on there. So it's like ultimately it's gonna kind of become that a little bit. In my opinion. He could walk around a dollhouse and still have room. Wow. Once you become a part of the club, you get absorbed by the club. Exactly. So when he said that thing, maybe I can pull the clip up of it, where he said this thing. He had Tim Dillon on as a guest because I like Tim Dillon a lot, and so I actually was watching part of the show because he was on. But he said, he's like, well, what if AI is like Jesus? He's like, no, think about it. Like Jesus is like the Tower of Babel. Had like he was trying to make all these parallels. I'm like, dude, you were totally coached to say this. And a bunch of, you remember too, a bunch of his listeners are kind of sheep. So like whatever he says and does, it's no longer an alternative opinion. It used to be like kind of an alternative dynamic opinion. Not really that much anymore. It's actually kind of like more of a mainstream opinion. It's formed into that, whether he intends to or not. It's hard to say, but you know, if you're going to dinner with Peter Thiel talking about the Antichrist and stuff, you're cooked. You know what I'm saying? Like, Peter Thiel's talking about the Antichrist constantly, and you're going to have dinners at his house. And he's like, oh, come on, he's a cool. Like, he's bad because he humanizes everyone who is bad. Like, he'll have Netanyahu on probably next week. Yeah, he's not that bad. He's not that bad of a guy. Like, that's what they're gonna do. So they humanize people who kind of really shouldn't be humanized.
If he has Netanyahu on the show, do you reckon they'll film at the wall?
Say that one more time, please.
If he had Netanyahu on the show, do you reckon they'd film it at the wall in Israel?
Oh yeah, he'd kiss the wall. Oh, absolutely. He probably already kissed the wall. He will kiss the wall, and he's like, hey, I'll do it with Netanyahu because he's there. So, who knows? He might have kissed the wall because you got to remember too, like he's been involved in like Hollywood and media a long time. They make you do weird gay stuff and like ritualistic stuff. So he's not. I'm sure he's seen plenty of stuff like that. I'm not saying he's done any of it. But I'm saying a lot of these people, are willing to do kind of anything for fame and stuff. Like that's kind of what the game is here.
Yeah.
In fact, he was going to do a gimmick with a really funny comedian called Doug Stanhope years ago, probably like 15 years ago or something like that. And they said they're each on the show, The Man Show, which ended up being a flop. But they were actually going to get like gay married for like a publicity stunt and just to be kind of like funny and be trolls. But Doug Stanhope is still actually a real working comedian who never like sold out for anything. Joe Rogan has a dick ton of money. So one of them, made a couple deals here and there because Doug Stanhope's probably a more talented comedian than Joe Rogan is too. So like that kind of can say a little bit because they were, each at the same level of comedy wise. Because remember, he was a comedian. Like he doesn't even do comedy now; he just does like bullshit. And he used to just have like comedians on most of the time. That's when I kind of would like it more. But now it's like not funny, and it's just like, hey, Jamie, pull this up, and we'll, it just kind of ends up going on and on and on forever. No, Doug Stanhope is not as. So I have to correct it. Doug Stanhope is not as funny as he used to be. And I know that because I actually hung out with him not too long ago. When he came to my town, actually, and we actually like hung out and shit like that. Believe it or not, he's not as fun as he used to be. But there was a time. Doug Stanhope is a true comedian, like alcoholic, like road comic that doesn't give a fuck. Like he's actually pretty cool. But he's not as funny as he used to be. But there was a time when he was like, I think one of the best comedians. Like if we were to see Doug Stanhope, no refunds, he calls out a lot of, but like a really good like George Carlin level type comedy. He was very, very, very funny, very funny. I'll put actually a few of his things in the Discord because I still think he's actually one of my favorite comedians, even though he does kind of like suck now. But at the time he was like awesome. He has some really great books and stuff like that. He, he's kind of cooked now. So let's finish that because that was now I'm Joe Roganing it talking about dumb shit.
Every day trying to get them to reopen the country.
Yeah, well, the lockdowns were done by governors. I mean, certainly Anthony Fauci and the president had opinions, but the lockdowns were done by governors, and largely because,
yeah, but they're also federally mandated. You dumb twat.
Largely because they were hearing from hospitals saying that their ICUs were overrun and they needed some help while that was happening.
Well, that's not true. That's just not true.
It is true.
I don't think the ICUs were overrun. I think the IC Jews were overrun. That's another thing too. Some of this was messed up too. I remember I did like a tree job kind of near this hospital that's kind of sort of like up on this hill and you can't really see it. That was in my city at the time. And I drove by the hospital dead as dead can be. Absolutely nothing going on. And yet you need a lockdown, please. Carlos writes in, anyone who's allowed to be on mainstream TV and interviewed is compromised. That might actually be true. They're only showing you things that they want to have a controlled opinion Like even this, it's all theater. This is theater. That's why I'm saying like RFK is going to seem like he's trying to like push back and say anything, but really like what has RFK done except tell you that like Tylenol might give you an autism kid? Yeah, no, I was trimming the customer's wife bush that day. I gave her a little hardwood. I tied her up and rigged her pretty good. Rigged her to the bedpost.
And my dad still curses your name to this day.
A secret, how many Bloody Marys so far today?
Actually, none.
Oh.
I'm
Still early.
I'm out.
5
No,
o'clock somewhere for him.
no, I'm out of vodka, and and my unfortunately I took my liquor budget, and I bought some coins and comics with my liquor budget.
Oh man.
No, I got a real good deal. I got a real good deal. So I told you one of the frameworks I like to use is asset or liability. We'll just put money in my pocket or take it out. And at the end of the day, if I can get $130 silver coin for $80, I'm gonna get that $80 silver coin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Anthony
Good
Fauci
investment.
was telling them from the top, you need to lock down. There were ICUs that were empty all over the country, including in.
That was actually just one other quick thing about COVID, which is interesting too. The power of silver. Silver is very powerful, almost like the original antibiotic. Silver, people could have simply put a silver coin in their water or something, or made colloidal silver, things like that. I was making something I was calling pirate juice. So I get a bottle of whiskey, take a little bit out so it wasn't full, okay? And I put actually a little bit of iodine in it, a little bit of colloidal silver in it, and lemon and lime. So the lemon and lime they help the silver basically get into other cells and kill off stuff. Iodine is also a very powerful immune booster and whatnot. And the whiskey kind of was like just cool to have, but the whiskey did kind of like, help kill some germs and stuff a little bit too, even though some of that's just kind of bullshit. But I was, drinking a lot at the time. So that was another thing I bought. Like I went to the store one time to get this local whiskey that I bought all of it at every one I went to. And I didn't share it with anybody.
You work at the height.
I'm asking you.
And it was already cinnamon whiskey, so I was putting cinnamon sticks in it too. So if you were to have that, mix that with like warm tea, I never really got COVID at all, and I was doing that the whole time, basically. And I still was going like snowboarding and doing a bunch of stuff like that.
You guys writing this down?
Yeah. No, I'll put it in the Discord under the health healing herbs and stuff like that. Speaking of which, I'll put the Discord out, but in my Discord, health healing herbs, I have a whole bunch of books on like curcumin, diabetes solution, how to make your own antibiotics, encyclopedia on vitamins and minerals, how to purify water, shit like that on there. It's a book on iodine. We'll actually just go to it really quickly. You can download. I think you should maybe download these and put them on a memory stick. And if there's ever some type of thing like this that happens again, you can have something that you can refer to and maybe try to make some of your own solutions. Yeah. And these are all made by doctors too, and a small hat doctors. It's legit. So like iodine deficiency. Let me go to that because iodine is, so if you don't have enough iodine, your IQ drops a little bit, especially when you're a kid and growing adult and baby and stuff. You don't have enough iodine, you actually can become like a little bit retarded. So that's why do you think they take iodine out of the salt and stuff like that, to make the public more retarded, basically? So like this Lugol's iodine is going to be like iodine mixed with like probably like vitamin C, vitamin D, and shit like that. So like just as a side note, but treatment of skin and breast cancer, not like, you know, these are things that are hidden from us. You know, there are books out there on them, but they're just difficult to find. So you know, and these are things you can do for cheap. So that's some of the value that I want to bring. Oh shit, did I even share the book? Did it show the book at all? Okay, okay, it is. It is. Okay.
Yeah, that used to be a part of my childhood, especially for like cuts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That used
exactly.
to
And
do.
water purification, things like that. So that's just a side note, because that was another thing with COVID. Part of it was individual responsibility for your own health and everything, and that means you kind of got to be a little creative with some of your own solutions here. So that's kind of why I was bringing that up.
I'm going to go back to what I asked you at the beginning, which is President Trump, and he was the guy in charge. And you tweeted back in 2024 that he let bureaucrats like Anthony Fauci shut down the entire country. Again, the president was in charge.
The president was trying to reopen the country when he left. The country was kept closed for another year, almost a year and a half after that.
Let's talk about how to prevent the next pandemic, because there's a lot of litigation.
So listen to this: how to prevent the next pandemic. So she's already, because remember this, they're pre-programming you a little bit. This is part of what they do too with the next pandemic, because it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you better, you know, it's coming. So you better not be ready. You just better be scared.
They just
Okay.
took this off.
Yeah. So like, and she says this a few times. I'm glad I wanted to actually point that out in here, because they're, you know, they pre-program you for stuff like this.
Litigated that I don't think is really helpful.
Or even if they're not pre-programming you, this is like a subliminal suggestion. What do you mean the next pandemic? You're not a doctor, ho. You're not a doctor. You're not a biologist and stuff that you bitch at everyone else that you know, saying they're not.
Helpful to do with regard to COVID. And the question is about so-called gain of function, which for people who aren't entirely clear about it,
that's right.
It is a highly risky research process that includes manipulating a virus to study how it behaves as it evolves. Now, what scientists say is that although it's controversial, it's necessary to prepare for the next pandemic, to get ahead of it, to figure out what these viruses can do. You want to end this gain of function research. Some scientists say, isn't it better just to put better guardrails around it?
People have been trying to put guardrails around it for generations, and it hasn't worked. And clearly, COVID-19 pandemic and many other global pandemics that we have come from gain of function research. The RSV epidemic that we have, that is the biggest killer of kids in this country today, came from these kind of experiments. The Lyme disease almost certainly came from this kind of research.
Yes, Lyme disease came from some island. What the hell is it called? It's either off of.
I know
like,
where you mean.
Yeah, Mass, New York, and New Jersey, but it actually did come from an island, an outbreak, because these people didn't control it and stuff like that. Lyme disease is a huge thing. I actually have a little bit of Lyme disease. Lyme disease is one of those things that stays in the body a long time and flares up and stuff, almost like herpes or something like that. It might be Turtle Island. This guy might be right. It's something like that. And it's either Mass, New York, or New Jersey, like one of those places.
Right off of New York, I believe.
No, it might be Plum Island. Whatever. We don't need to go crazy with that. But that's a government created thing, so they do shit like this. So again, did anyone get in trouble for that?
Nope.
No. So like, that's what I'm saying. Like, no one's really getting in trouble for any of this like this. In trouble for anything like this yet.
So, and the scientists who you say are experts are making the argument that this is necessary for pandemic response. Cannot point to one instance in history.
Just one other thing too. Scientists, a lot of times, scientists are shills to whoever gives them the funding and the government grants. So Fauci is responsible for, you know, steering someone to give you a government grant so you can pretend to research for the next year, and you get to have, you know, your Mercedes Benz, and you get, you know, you're making $170K a year or whatever, and you're kind of fucking off all the time. So make no mistake about it, doctors and scientists will shill harder than anyone else. They will shill harder than anybody else. I'm not saying they all do, but I'm saying that some do, and they will, and they'll just totally be fine with it. Doctors are one of the highest jobs that sociopaths take. Narcissists take. I think it's probably surgeon is really the highest, but doctors, think about it. A doctor kind of wants to be authority over you. I'm kind of your god. I control your access to medication. I get
Hey,
to tell you you're a fat piece of shit or something like
Hey,
that.
Snowboard, have you
Yeah.
ever seen those pharmaceutical reps who visit the doctors?
Oh, it's probably like the hottest chick you've ever seen.
Bingo.
Yeah, yeah. And they cheat on their wife and stuff like that. My friend that worked selling cars, he told me that doctors usually have the shittiest credit too, because they just like nig their money like as soon as they can, because they think they're just going to always have more, or maybe the schooling is a lot. So I'm not exactly sure.
Hey, Secret, maybe you ought to
Yeah.
become a doctor.
Actually,
He
when I was in
doesn't spend his
college,
money though. He doesn't. He just didn't even get lit. He's
Yeah.
kind of a small hat. He's 1/8 small hat. So, and I think that's growing because he said he didn't spend his money on liquor. He spent it on
yeah, I bought some collectible.
on silver. So he's
And-
he's actually right now he's very unwell. Well.
Yeah.
Hey, who's the third person on the panel? Can't remember.
Oh,
his
Bear.
name.
Bear.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, Bear.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Hey, Bear,
Speak
you
up whenever
ought to
you want,
become
man.
a doctor.
No, I couldn't.
Just for the pharmaceutical reps.
Actually,
yeah.
when I was in college, I was actually contemplating applying for a pharmaceutical rep role.
Oh,
Nice. Yeah, you can make a lot of money doing that, and you know how to sell. Like always be closing, always be vaccinating. You don't want to vaccinate? Fuck you. Go home and play with your bastard unvaccinated kids. Your bastard unvaccinated stepkids.
Secret would have been drowning in cat.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
it was Plum Island. Okay, it was Plum Island because they have a Plum Island in like Mass too. But yeah, it was Plum Island. Yeah.
Good call
So
to Red Door.
Yeah, Red Door knows a lot about this stuff, and she said that she believes it was a social experiment. I had an infectious disease doctor tell me it was just a strain of the flu. Of course it was.
Yeah.
Yep. Because they're liming their tits off. Because they're limey scum.
Hey, Snowboard, you're in your profession. You're working in the tick turf, so
Yeah, I've got a lot of ticks.
Me.
Yeah, I've got so one thing that you can do for it, I'll give you another solution that will help you. Two things. Number one is you're gonna go on to I have two solutions. One is a herb that is called cat's claw, which we'll get into in a second. But the better way of mitigating it, again, we're talking about mitigating it, not, you can't even say it will heal something, okay?
Right, mitigate.
Well, because it does kind of come back. Let me go to here. It's not.
Yeah, I think it's a federal crime, isn't it? If you say, "Oh, this can heal you of this."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a thought crime. Yeah, you can't say that word.
Yeah, you'll get paid a visit by the black Chevy Suburban.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you might end up like drowning in a puddle of water or something like that.
Yeah.
So this right here, which I made a video on zeolite, but if you went to the link here, I can get you a discount on it. This right here. Actually, I'll just hit the link right now. But so you go to products and then what's called zeolites, which I might need to type it in. Where is it? Here we go. This. Okay, this right here. This is a very powerful detoxifier. And Lyme disease has something called like I'm gonna butcher the name, like one of them is really called like phagocytes or something like that, a type of bacteria, and then spirochetes or something like that. This can help pull that from the body. Again, I'm not saying it will heal it and stuff like that. I take this all the time. if I have a tick bite, I will rub this on it. Even if it's not like a Lyme, they can still give you a nasty disease. So this is very powerful. During COVID, I took this as well. This does like so many things. That's why I made a video on. I asked this company to sell this stuff, like, and this brand and stuff is one of the best ones. So if you have Lyme, this is a thing that will help it. And then the other thing that will help it and prevent ticks in general is cat's claw, which is a cat's claw herb. A naturopath doctor told me about it. This right here. Mitts kind of looks shitty. Cat's claw is like a vine in, I believe, South America. Oops.
And look at Red Door dropping some knowledge.
Cat's claw is a vine that's in South America. So when you walk past it, it kind of here, let's just go look at it. Let's just look. We'll do the shorter one here.
Ancient herbal wisdom and natural healing.
Let me see what Red Door said first for a second. Ebola was created at Fort
Detrick's. Fort
Detrick's, Maryland.
Maryland. Ooh.
Interesting. Crazy. Well, Joe Rogan can just stick his head in his wife's pussy. That's why he calls it giving head. He's getting a really big head these days.
He did marry a waitress single mom.
He did? Oh my God.
They ain't got no prenup.
So we ain't leaving anytime soon.
Joe Rogan's a famous cleanup man.
Oh man, wow. I didn't know that. That's no wonder he never talked. You never hear about his wife or anything like that.
Yep, he's a cleanup man.
Oh my God. Now I definitely think he's a shill even more. That only goes to the case of him being even more of a shill. Or possible shill. But yeah, cat's claw is a thing that you guys should just know about in general. That's a good. I actually took this during COVID sometimes too. So if you have, I'll talk about it before they do this. I don't want to do like an autistic kids cartoon one. We'll do this one.
Cat's claw.
Like I said, it's like a vine in South America that has these little thorns on it that basically, if you walk past and shit like that, it will catch on your clothing or something like that. That's where the name comes from. The layman's name of it. But why is it good? I learned about it for ticks from a naturopathic doctor. So once you start taking cat's claw, the ticks smell it on you. They smell it in your blood. And it's one of the things that can actually help fight against Lyme. So that's a good one to take in the woods and everything like that. Also, too, if you were to get a tick bite, you could empty the capsule powder and put it on the tick bite itself once you remove it right away. I've done that too. But it's a really good, what's called an adaptogenic herb. So if your body is running too hot, it'll cool it down. If it's running too cool, it'll warm it up. It's mostly used for things, I think in like Germany and stuff, it's actually like they use it as like a pharmaceutical drug for like rheumatoid arthritis. So a lot of like joint pain things, it works kind of like ibuprofen. So it like limits this thing called like the COX-4 enzyme, which is basically something that like ibuprofen does. So it's kind of like a painkiller a little bit, It's not going to be like as like strong as Tylenol or something, and it has to build up a little bit, but it's a very powerful like anti-inflammatory for things like that. So it's that, and it's very good for gut health, leaky gut, any type of gut thing like that. It helps with that. It's really strong stuff, but this is something that would help counteract ticks and all that, and Lyme itself. Again, doesn't cure it, but it keeps it in check. It helps to keep it in check. Let me just fast forward this, and we'll do this little 2-minute video and get back on the RFK. See, it's important that we learn here something.
It's a 2-minute educational video.
Yeah. It's 307. We'll just say it's 304 for fun.
A remarkable herb from the rainforests of South America with incredible health benefits. What is cat's claw? Cat's claw, scientifically known as Uncaria tomentosa and Uncaria guianensis, is a vine that grows in the rainforests of the Andes Mountains, particularly in Peru. The root bark of this plant is used as medicine and is known for its anti-inflammatory and immune-boosting properties. Proven health benefits. Anti-inflammatory. The anti-inflammatory action of cat's claw may help those suffering from arthritis. The swelling associated with arthritis often leads to pain and stiffness, and cat's claw may help alleviate these symptoms. Immune function. Cat's claw may enhance the overall functioning of the immune system. This can be particularly useful for those who frequently suffer from colds, the flu, and upper respiratory infections.
Yeah, COVID, this helped with, because it was a respiratory disease, so I kept some of this around.
It may also benefit individuals with seasonal allergies such as hay fever. Antiviral. Cat's claw is believed to have antiviral properties, potentially offering protection against viruses like the common cold, flu, and herpes infections.
Yep, and the herp derp. They don't tell you about that, do they?
Detoxification. Cat's claw may help
Oregano is another one that does that.
protect the body from harmful toxins found in smoke, pollution, and UV rays. This detoxifying effect can aid in preventing various ailments associated with toxin exposure. How does it work?
So the toxin exposure in those viruses, Lyme would fall under that.
Anti-inflammatory. Cat's claw's anti-inflammatory properties can reduce swelling and pain associated with arthritis, promoting better joint health and mobility. Immune support. By boosting the immune system, cat's claw can help the body fight off infections more effectively, providing relief from frequent colds, flu, and respiratory issues. Antiviral action. The antiviral properties of cat's claw may help prevent and reduce the severity of viral infections, keeping you healthier during cold and flu season. Detoxification. Cat's claw's ability to protect against harmful toxins can support overall health and prevent diseases caused by environmental.
And exactly, this is a good spot to pause it.
You know,
Why have you never heard of this? Because they want you to take the Johnson & Johnson shot. They want you to take their bullshit. They don't want you to take this for like $20.
well, you know what the
This
solution
one
is,
thing
right?
could replace like five medications.
You know what the solution is, right? We got to burn down the rainforest and get rid of it.
Yeah, of course.
The best way to remove toxins from your environment is to get a divorce. Yeah.
The all you know, the other thing too is if you
avoid getting married. Yeah.
if you do if you were able to push a 10-day fast, which is going to be hard for a lot of people,
Crazy hard. Yeah, that would be.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you could do it and then maybe train yourself to push a 20-day fast, I guarantee you once you push all that out of your system, all right, next thing you do is you have water with borax in them and your arthritis and stuff starts disappearing. You won't have viruses, quote unquote. And there's some debate whether viruses even exist in the first place or not.
Mm.
And I'm going, and I will die on that hill. Okay. Because
I haven't looked into that, but I'm open to looking into it. But I'm just saying, like,
well, I don't want to get you banned off YouTube. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, I want to keep this kind of about the topic that we're talking. Like, this is actually relevant to our topic, but you haven't heard of this besides hearing it from me. And I'm not giving you some weird ancient wisdom Chinese herb here per se. It's a little bit obscure. But imagine if they said, "Oh, you take some of this. Oh, so I don't need my leaky gut medicine. I don't need to take freaking Tylenol every day, so your mom doesn't, make an autistic kid because she's taking Tylenol all the time and shit like that. Oh, this will help, keep my immune system robust, so I don't maybe need to take a shot because I have a robust immune system that's functioning the right way, and this is helping it." Shit like that. They will never have that because they can't make money off of it. The only way they make money off of it is they take one compound from this and extract it when it might have like 400 that all need to work together in the right ways. Basically. So that's like kind of what they're, and then they jack up the price way more. So if you simply got the herb, like I'm trying to think of like someone put turmeric here. So turmeric is a good example. They'll sell you. So the main thing in turmeric, or one of the main things in turmeric that helps you, is called curcumin. They have medications that say, "Oh, we have curcuminoids in it." It's like, so you just went to turmeric, took a shit ton of that, and made that one compound. So they maybe made the compound like 400x or something, perhaps, but you could have also just taken that amount of turmeric too. So like curcumin is the thing that helps heal you, and curcuminoids is like what they're called. So they have medicines where it's just like, oh, we have curcuminoids and stuff like that. It's like, well, you took turmeric and then just, did something else with it. And anytime you have turmeric, Brian, you got to put black pepper with it because it makes it like 100 times more efficient. Just a little bit, just a little bit. They almost don't even sell them not together sometimes. You'd be a fool not to have it. His coworker had a one-night stand, and when the woman left after the fun time, he saw that she leaked all over his brand new mattress. He was so mad. She might have a leaky gut or something like that. I think she has a leaky gash. I don't know if leaky gut leaks from that. Leaky gut is like undigested food and like shit that kind of leaks into your blood. So it's like your gut and intestines has a barrier where the food travels around, and this part of those food particles that are not digested the right way, it's almost like a little holes here into your digestive lining, and that goes into your blood, and like it really shouldn't be there, so it fucks it up. It like confuses your body on like kind of what to do.
Wait, I'm confused. Are we talking brown stuff, red stuff, or yellow stuff that's leaking?
Oh, oh man.
Like, are we talking about a leaky ass, a leaky punani, or a leaky urethra?
Yeah.
Oh, this went downhill real quick.
Maybe it just was a little bit of extra fluid from her going.
Oh, you gotta give that.
Maybe it was a little bit of that. You know what it could have been? It could have been a little bit of chicken juice. Chicken.
Sorry to jump in. My phone, it's starting to I don't know what's happening with it. So I'm going to jump out so it doesn't cause any stream problems. But just want to say thanks for having me. It's been nice listening to you guys.
Perfect.
Thanks, man. Anytime. Appreciate your viewership.
Good to meet you,
come
brother.
on anytime. You can still stay on if you want. We're not experiencing any problems. But
no, it's more my end. It's just I don't want it to close randomly.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, guys. God bless.
You too. Take it easy.
See, that's why you always have a black, dark blue, or dark brown towel.
Oh yeah, exactly. You have white sheets. What the hell is that? Yeah.
That's a secret filtration system.
Yeah. Yeah. C-Grip calls his sheets like pimp silk. He calls that pimp silk.
Oh, man.
But right now he's being cheap because he's got a low thread count linen.
Yeah.
Gotta get that thread count up, son.
Yeah. I learned a long time ago. If you got an expensive mattress, you're out there like that, you definitely need to get
one of those covers. Yeah.
Cover. I mean, a mattress.
The same thing an Italian grandma has on her couch. You need like one of those.
Oh, but also, and maybe I shouldn't say this. Maybe I shouldn't say this out loud. But it's also another reason why.
That's not going to stop him.
It's not going to stop me.
Hang on a second. Let me just precursor this and just say.
Well.
No.
Carry on.
But it's also why I like having a 2-bedroom, a minimum of a 2-bedroom, because I have a room just for B-dubs, and it's not it's not the master.
Yeah. It's called the mud room.
Exactly.
It's called the dog kennel. It's called the garage. It's called the doghouse.
Look,
The shed.
look, if you don't plan,
Greenhouse.
look,
The basement.
look, not planning for success is a plan for failure.
Yeah. What is the joke? I eat 4 coconuts a week. That's probably why I joke about everything. People always say, because he's coconuts. I think that's what he's saying. You don't want to have too much. So, speaking of bed sheets and stuff like that, coconuts, fats, talking about food and everything like that, and especially sea grip stuff he would eat. Like, you know, I had too much ribs one time and I almost shit the bed because I ate way too many ribs and they had too much fat on them or something like that. So, you know, that can happen. So that's another reason you don't want, I mean, you're going to change your sheets, but like underneath the mattress is usually white. So you want some type of, you know.
That was a serious power dump.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they were those like shitty Walmart, like Lloyd's ribs or something like that. And I ate the whole thing and I just like, they were good as hell. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of like fat in them or something like that. Like, I don't know. I was drinking a lot at the time. Who knows? But
You're better off eating some gas station sushi at this point.
Yeah, yeah. No, I never ate those again, but they were pretty good when I had them. But I've never ate them again.
Yeah, your body has a way of clearing out toxins.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Carlos writes in, I call my second bedroom an office, but I will change it to some B-dub action. Yeah, exactly. Or you could just get one of those, you know, those chairs that psychologists used to have, where they kind of like lay down. Yeah, they kind of like lay down a little bit, but it's not fully a bed. You could have something like that. You know why they have that? Do you actually know why psychologists have that? Because when you're laying on that, looking up at the ceiling, you tend to say more shit than when you're like looking at someone directly. So you can say that, you know, you beat off the Pokemon or something like that, and not have to look someone in the face. Okay, let me finish this cat's claw thing really quick, but I just thought it was telling because there's like this, you know, pandemic looking guy here too.
Works well with 1. Glucosamine and chondroitin. These supplements can complement cat's claw for joint-related complaints, enhancing joint health and reducing arthritis symptoms. 2. Echinacea. When combined with cat's claw, echinacea can provide additional support for the immune system, particularly during colds and flu symptoms. 3. Vitamin C. Taking vitamin C alongside cat's claw can further support the immune system and protect.
And that's another thing where the government and CDC and everything, the RDA for vitamin C is like, dick. We're having Joe Rogan's RDA of vitamin C. You want to have like, you want to actually have, so you actually want to have so much vitamin C. This called balanced bowel tolerance, where you actually kind of need the shit, and then you taper the vitamin C down. It's actually literally called bowel tolerance. So you want to take vitamin C up to bowel tolerance and then lower it. That's what you want to do. Like, I've read a couple books about vitamin C, and vitamin C is one of the things where you start to see how like the government and stuff like that messes with you. If you went into the hospital today and said, "Can I have IV of vitamin C?" They'll like look at you like you're insane, and we can't do that. Where did you hear that? That doesn't do anything. Get him out of here. Like, they'll do shit like that, and it costs them like nothing. Probably costs like nothing. So that's another thing. Vitamin C is almost like, you know, during COVID, you want to have a shit ton of vitamin C. It's not a cure-all of everything, but vitamin C is kind of it can act as a detoxifier. It can act as kind of like, sometimes they call it the universal helper because it just helps a bunch of shit, like basically what they're giving us in this example. Joe only has to take the half recommended amount of vitamin C because he's only half a man tall. Yeah. We should. So his wife looks like Wesley Snipes. Let me see what Joe Rogan's wife looks like because I've never actually seen what she looks like. And she was a single mom, huh?
Ugh, I didn't think he was a car.
Neither did I.
A waitress single mom.
Even worse.
So he literally married a broke chick.
This chick? I don't know if this is the one. Let's see here.
The Joe Rogan Experience host, now 57, was spotted enjoying a lavish escape aboard
See, that's why he looks more jacked, too, because he's kind of short.
the luxurious Octo yacht off the coast of Venice, Italy. Despite being vocal about his skepticism of marriage, Rogan once revealed what she had done was way more of a commitment compared to signing a legal contract.
Uh-oh, what's he gonna... So, I thought you guys said he didn't do a prenup, or let's see. Let's see.
Maybe I was
Giving
wrong.
birth to their child.
What did you say, Secret?
Maybe I was wrong, but I heard he didn't do a prenup.
Well, we might hear. This could also just be like bullshit, too.
Signing a legal contract, referring to Ditzel giving birth to their child. He added, "I had to. She made a baby."
She baby trapped him. Oh, man. So she baby trapped him.
Speaking on the Lex Fridman podcast, Rogan described Ditzel as happy, kind, disciplined, and fun. He rarely...
Disciplined? She's a waitress.
Look.
She's a waitress who just let you nut in her and had a mistake kid that you then had to cover up for.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Look, it's not easy balancing 2-3 entrees, 3 drinks, and 2 appetizers on a tray.
Yeah.
Hey, Seagrip knows from
Especially
experience,
after-
from observation.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Especially after the chef just dicked you down. Waitresses are always 304s, guys.
Rarely discusses his family, but has shared, parenthood is probably the greatest human privilege. He's also expressed gratitude for having daughters. "I think the universe did me a solid by giving me only daughters." When asked about Kaija, Rogan said, "She's not just my daughter, but also my friend." He proudly called Lola a phenomenal athlete. The Joe Rogan Experience host, now 57,
I'm not really buying this.
was spotted enjoying a lavish escape aboard the luxurious Octo yacht off the coast.
So this is what I'm talking about, guys. When they're on shit like this, they're compromised now. You know, if you're on shit like this with Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, and then you're trying to talk about how AI is going to be cool and stuff, it's compromised. You know, in my opinion, that's what it is. Like, if you're, that they say you're a combination of the 5 people you're around the most. Well, if you're around Peter Thiel and all these types, you're going to just become like them more. And they hate you. They don't like you. They're not looking out for your best interests. They didn't just get this yacht from providing good service.
Coast of Venice, Italy. Joining him on this rare public family outing was his wife, Jessica Ditzel, 49, along with daughters Lola, 16, and Rosie, 14. It remains unclear if Kaija, 28, whom Rogan adopted, was part of the sun-drenched retreat. Rogan and Ditzel, married since 2009, were photographed relaxed.
Ditzel is such a stupid name.
Yeah, he also adopted her kid, too.
Dits.
Oh, my God. He did?
Oh, boy.
Wow. Wow.
Rick James said cocaine's a hell of a drug. Well, guess what? So is pussy to a simp.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Oh, man. You know what that adopted daughter says?
Your mom's a hoe.
Relaxing on the yacht's spacious deck, enjoying meals and soaking in serene coastal views. The Octo, known for its state-of-the-art...
But why is he also on this? I want you to think of this. This is parked. This is parked. Yeah, he maybe got turned out, maybe. Like he's hung out with Diddy and shit like that, guys. You're in around these people long enough. He's probably had Diddy on his podcast and shit like that. But what if you're on? Think about this. You're on this huge yacht, but you're parked on the mainland because you don't want to be around the peasant people. He wants to like be on this. Like this is kind of like. Do you really think he's cool being on this? I think this kind of goes a little bit farther than like being cool personally. With all
I
this
thought
like,
he's
Big Brother shit.
Gas.
It's a luxury
You had so
prison.
much money to buy the boat, so now you got to fuel it, right?
It's
Yeah,
basically a luxury prison.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the same one. Like this is like the same one that Mark Zuckerberg has, but he'll be like, "I can't believe Mark Zuckerberg has this." Like Mark Zuckerberg, you humanize him on the show and be like, "Yeah, Mark's cool. We drink beers and he does jujitsu." It's a psyop. It's a long form psyop. That's what it's. He may have never intended for it to become that, but that's now what it is. It's a long form psyop to humanize someone. So they'll have Netanyahu on. He'll have Zelensky on. He's like, "See, he's not bad. Daddy Putin won't go on this." That's who he should have on, but he won't go on that stuff.
Art features like an
What
infinity
I'd like
pool
to
and
know
private
is
movie.
what requires so many satellite uplinks on a boat?
Peter Thiel's Antichrist chip or something like that.
Hey, he's getting
He hangs
monitored
out with
20
Peter Thiel a lot. Peter Thiel talks about the Antichrist like a real lot. I think I covered him on the show a little bit, but he's talking about the Antichrist like a real lot. He's giving lectures on the Antichrist.
You can tell that, but he's getting monitored on that boat 24/7.
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
by his bosses.
Yep.
You got 5 satellite uplinks that I can see in there too, and like,
Yeah.
okay, and that's not just internet. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, that's not just tracking. That's not just navigation. Those are communication satellites.
Yeah, even Joe's daughter, 13, is taller than him. Wow. We can maybe see that. Well, I know his dad doesn't really like him. So, like I said, I haven't really, I don't really watch the show or anything.
Theater.
I did watch it when Tim Dillon was on, but even that I can only watch like 20 minutes of it. I don't know if people watch that shit like 3 hours.
Comes with a rental tag
You should be watching my show for 3 hours though.
around $640,000
This is the good Joe, not that one now.
per week. A peaceful getaway, a proud dad, and a tight-knit family. Joe Rogan's Italian escape proves that behind.
Yeah, Bono. This is a perfect example. Here you go. Bono is a demon. Bono goes to Africa and Bono probably hangs out with Fauci because he goes to Africa saying he's doing the AIDS donations and stuff. Bono is scum. Bono does the fake charities that are African donations and stuff. I'm serious. Bono is not a good guy. Bono is kind of a demon. He looks like a demon, kind of. But Bono goes to Africa, does that Trustafarian stuff, and say he's going to get like wells for them and shit like that, then pocketed the money. I'm not even kidding. It's probably been 10, 12 years ago since he did that. I don't know if he's still doing shit like that, but he was doing shit like that. So like, that's what I'm saying. That like, eventually I think he does kind of know some stuff like this, but like, if you go on the Joe Rogan podcast, it's his turn to kind of clear you and say like, oh, he's cool. He did the Joe Rogan podcast. He's cool. It's like, he's not that bad of a guy. We just humanize him. So that's kind of like sort of what it is. Bono is like 5'1" and towers over. Well, he is standing kind of sideways. Yeah, Bono sucks. You two sucks.
In the fame, it's love that anchors it all.
Okay. Where the hell is this one?
Their research that came out of this kind of experimentation has actually provided us something beneficial.
So how do you prepare then? How do you prepare for the next pandemic? I mean, that's literally part of your job now because experts think in the next 10 years again.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did virtually everything wrong the last time.
So what about now?
The principal thing that we need to do is we need to listen to what's happening to doctors on the ground. There are 15 million frontline physicians around the world.
Well, one other thing about Joe Rogan, like part of what maybe he does do is he doesn't say things that should be said. Like, I'm sure he's seen stuff, but he's not gonna say nothing about it. You can't tell me he hasn't been told about Rothschild shit and stuff like that. He used back when he was cooler, he would hang out with Alex Jones. Alex Jones actually taught Joe Rogan a lot about broadcasting. He even admits that.
Yeah,
Alex Jones.
They would make him
Go ahead.
disappear.
Yeah. Well, he's a Kennedy, so he could just be rich and do heroin for years. Guys, he's a Kennedy, so he's basically like, a Vanderbilt and shit like that.
Mainly now connected through the internet, we can tell on the front lines what's working and what's not. If we had listened to those doctors during the COVID pandemic, we would have saved potentially millions of lives. There were therapeutics out there that were working. There were doctors that were having no deaths from COVID and treating, in some cases, thousands of patients. And we weren't listening to them. Instead, we were doing the opposite. We were shutting them down. And then, Dana, the other thing that I would say is that we need to protect our constitutional rights. That is the primary obligation of our country. Well, during COVID, we completely...
What is this dumb bitch? What does that mean? It means that we have, Jesus.
dismantled our constitutional rights. We began censoring people in violation of the First Amendment.
But you're saying what not to do. I'm asking what to do. But I want to talk about...
That's something to do. That is the number one priority. We protect the Constitution. The Constitution was
Forgive me, but you're talking about rights, and I'm asking about a potential public health crisis that is coming. But I do want to
And one of the mistakes.
See how she sucks so much.
Time was suppressing those rights so people weren't being heard. The doctors were saying.
Let me stop this for a second and let's do this was happening today, so let's see him hold his feet to the fire.
You were involved. That same night, Governor Gavin Newsom's chief of staff told you that the governor had decided to close California schools, bars, and restaurants after watching you on television. Presidents, governors, mayors, school boards, corporations, and Congress all bear responsibility for the decisions they made. The COVID lockdown, however, could never have been inflicted without you aiding and abetting the crime. Children lost years of education. Small businesses built over a lifetime disappeared. Patients delayed cancer screenings and other medical care. Families were separated from dying relatives. Workers were ordered to accept a medical procedure or lose their jobs. Worship assembly, employment, education, and travel were restricted in the name of science. While you did not impose every restriction, you used your public authority to justify them. While you concluded publicly that COVID occurred naturally, your private record tells a different story. In early 2020, your handpicked virologist warned that the virus appeared to have been manipulated in the lab. In a conference call concerning the origin of the virus, all but two of the participants believed deliberate insertion was possible. The concern was not merely theoretical. That same week, you led an urgent effort to determine whether your own agency had funded the research related to these experiments that were now under suspicion. Hours later, your assistant reported that the Wuhan experiments had indeed been reviewed and approved by the NIH. Those were not the actions of officials who believed that a research-related origin was an absurd conspiracy theory. They were the actions of officials urgently trying to determine whether their agency funding was connected to the research under discussion, connected to the pandemic. You could not hide that your agency had funded the Wuhan research or your long history of defending gain-of-function research. The only alternative left...
He's just going to plead the fifth.
...was to argue that COVID-19 did not originate in the Wuhan lab. You were not a detached observer. You had an institutional interest in the public believing that federally funded research had nothing to do with the pandemic. It was a conflict of interest from the very beginning. The authors of the proximal origin of SARS-CoV-2 privately had serious doubts about a natural origin. Within days, though, they flipped. And they all wrote in proximal origin that the virus was almost certainly not a laboratory construct. That paper was then used by the government and the media and you to discredit Americans who were asking the same questions that you and the authors were asking yourselves privately. You even cited proximal origin from the White House podium. You held it out as evidence that the virus could not have been engineered, but you didn't disclose your role in the discussions that preceded. Trust can't be ordered. It has to be earned. No scientist is above scrutiny.
So basically nothing happened. Let's check out this one right here.
2 doses of Pfizer's mRNA vaccine, unaware at the time that it was, in fact, a prophylactic gene therapy product and unlike any traditional vaccine. I'm a grieving vaccine-injured doctor. I've been diagnosed with a persistent autoimmune condition related to loss of bifidobacteria in my guts. An advanced blood test suggested I'm at slightly increased risk of cancer in the short term. In my view, millions of Americans and millions more across the world may be in clear and present danger of suffering premature cardiovascular disease and cancer.
Our next witness is Dr.
Yeah, so people, and this is another thing that was happening. So midway into the C-19, there was a lot of morticians speaking up. And they're like, what the hell are these spaghetti strings that I'm pulling out of people's arteries and stuff? We've never seen this before. And we happen to be seeing it a dick ton more now, even in some kids and stuff. Teenagers and shit. What is this? They're like, don't believe that. That's all conspiracy or something. It's like, well, they're seeing it more. Like this is their field. They're the ones seeing it. So that was another thing that happened. Wait, Rand Paul voted to combine small hat. Really? I thought I know Ron Paul didn't want stuff like that, so I'm surprised Rand Paul did that. I didn't know that. Scott Adams said he got cancer as a direct result of getting the shot. He had $80 million and that couldn't even save his life. Yeah, he died not too long ago. Huh, interesting. I didn't know that he said that it was maybe related to it, but it could be. It's modifying your immune system from the way God made it. They're saying it's like messing with DNA and everything. Like, we don't really know, but I know that if you don't take it, you're not changing anything. So, hello, Lauren.
Just remember, your DNA is an antenna, and if you change it, God knows what the hell happens to you.
Yeah. Another thing too. When does Big Pharma give you anything for free? Never. EpiPens, the blood sugar shots or whatever, the insulin shots. Nope, that's not free.
Nope, that's
now
the revenue
you
stream.
can get Narcan for free. You can get some Narcan for as much Narcan as you want. Why? So you can basically kill yourself, make yourself live, and continue consuming the drugs that the Sackler family has provided to you. Oxycontin and shit like that.
I remember this from Chris Rock. The money's not in the cure. The money's in the medicine.
Yeah. Yep. So you can get as much Narcan as you want for free, and you can get as much boosters as you want for free. Maybe flu shot. I don't know if you have to pay a small fee for the flu shot.
That's pretty much a write-off for them.
Yeah, not in Canada. Pretty much all vaccines in Canada are free, except if you're going to travel somewhere. Then they boost up the price because there's things that you don't necessarily need to be around society in Canada. But if you go to say like Peru or Argentina or some third world
malaria type stuff.
Yeah, and things that don't exist.
Probably not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so they want to poison you before you leave.
Captive audience. Yeah, that's a good point.
Scott said because he was branded racist, medical and cancer doctors weren't giving him proper treatment. Maybe. And all Scott Adams said, he's like, hey, I don't want to live around a bunch of people committing crimes and stuff like that happen to be a little more melanated. Like, it's basically all that he said. Yeah.
And I'm one of those melanated people.
Yep. Yeah.
So C-grip.
Yeah. What? Here's a little thought experiment. What crimes in the what states in the United States have the lowest crime rates?
Probably North Dakota. What?
Nope. New Hampshire? Nope. New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont. Which states happen to, just by coincidence, happen to have the least watermelon enthusiasts? Those three states.
Isn't North Dakota at least one of those states?
Maybe. I don't exactly know this, but I do know that those ones are really low crime.
Like nothing ever goes on in North Dakota. I've noticed that.
Yeah.
They have the least amount of the products from the Democrat created state-backed matriarchy.
Yeah. Steve writes in, long-term COVID is real. COVID cough is real. Yeah, I don't know anyone who has it, but I'm sure there probably is. Red Door writes in, I know 3 people that died after getting the shot. I had a friend in cancer remission, and it came back with a vengeance after she got the shot because it's modifying your immune system. It's like, that's another thing too. It's more your body has to deal with when you maybe didn't have to do anything. Like, think about it. it makes you sick and feel worse after you take it. So like, what did you really do? And here's another thing. Some people would just say they take it to get a day off of work. Because you know how they'd be like, oh, you can have like the day off of work afterwards, so you have a chance to like recover because your arm hurt and stuff like that. People were doing shit like that. The big C is a direct result of the V. It's a real thing. I've seen it played out. So many people getting that. Yeah, this stuff is covered up. Like that's the demonic thing about Fauci and stuff like that. They suppress this. That's actually where the killing in the disease happens. Yeah, they're saying if you got the shot, it will either give you heart problems or something later down the line. I asked him. He's not racist. He's Lauren. He's trusting the science. He's trusting the science and statistics. So, you know, like, and there's nothing wrong with him having a preference. See how if it's ever a white man who's saying I have a boundary or I have a preference for something, how it's bad. A beat will be like, I don't want to be around that white man. He's a white devil. He's the white devil. Every time I see a white man, all he says to me,
"You're ugly. You're disgusting. I'm going to kill you. Give me $200."
That's what the white man say every time.
Hey Joe, read my recent comment.
The Democrats created a state-backed matriarchy should serve as a canary in the coal mine as to what happens in welfare state policies, which remove the father from the homes and take root in the community. 100.
Any community.
Any community, yeah. Because I mean, there are some trailer type people, and they don't have the dad stick around, and they're on welfare, and they're living off Mountain Dew and shit like that. We start to see some of those problems too.
Yep.
Scott cited a study that said 91.7% of blacks they don't like whites. So based on that, whites should stay away from black. Yeah, and you know who actually, and I'm fine with that. Like we can still live in the same country and respect each other. We don't just have to live next to each other and stuff like that. You know who wanted that? Malcolm X. Malcolm X wanted black people to kind of have their own bank, their own Wall Street, which did get kind of burned down. Sorry about that one. But I've heard this in controversy in that, but like we'll take that out of it. But he wanted people them to have their own bank, their own education systems, their own everything. Like Malcolm X wanted that. I actually like Malcolm X more than Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King kind of became compromised. He was kind of like perverted and stuff like that.
But the small hats didn't want that. That's why they took him out.
Yes, yeah. Martin, so that I have a dream thing and stuff like that. Well, the Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were each taken out, probably by the CIA, but that I have a dream thing and stuff like that, that was written for Malcolm X by a small hat. Some of he actually had like a speechwriter. MLK, yeah. No, yeah, Malcolm X is a little more extreme and did like his own thing. That's kind of why I liked him a little bit more. He was more disciplined, more hardcore, stuff like that. Whereas the stimulus check, well, during this time was the greatest transfer of wealth to who? People who already are rich as fuck, so they get more. So this time was one of the biggest wealth transfers in the past 100 years. So much fraud was happening with the PPE. Steering contracts certain ways, like Amazon became a monopoly during that time. A bunch of stuff like that. Yeah, Scott Adams was basically saying to stay away from people that don't like you and you don't and want to harm you. So yeah. Yep.
Just stay away from black people. Just stay away. There is no fixing this. Okay. So the best advice I got for white people is to just fuck away from black people. That's what he says. Those are his words.
Asim Malhotra.
But Malcolm X kind of wanted like a separation too, which I would like. So they were kind of admitting like, yeah, we should kind of stay away from each other. But doesn't mean that they were going to like make like some civil war or something. They were just going to be like, hey, like we're going to have our own
yeah, you got your
town
space
over
to
here
come
in
up.
Bank. Yeah, and that should be. I think that should be fine.
Dr. Malhotra is a multi-award-winning, internationally renowned British cardiologist. He served in an advisory role for health policy across governments, including as an ambassador to the Academy of Medical Royal Colleges and trustee of the King's Fund, a health policy.
Now, Senator Ron Johnson has basically like reptilian lizard eyes.
You know what? You know what's funny? Just wait a second. Do you notice how he looks like Senator Kenzie from Stargate SG-1? The guy that was always causing problems.
Oh, yeah. I can see it.
I've never seen it, so I don't know. Cool.
Think tank. He was ranked the #1 doctor in the world influencing obesity thinking. He was named one of the UK's most influential scientists. Dr. Malhotra.
Thank you, Senator Johnson. In January 2021, indoctrinated with the unlikelihood of any major harm, I took 2 doses of Pfizer's mRNA vaccine, unaware at the time that it was, in fact, a prophylactic gene therapy product and unlike any traditional vaccine. Although I was
That's another thing. It's inherently a lie. It's not necessarily a vax. It's a gene modifier somehow.
very low risk of serious illness from COVID-19 due to my age and perfect metabolic health, I was inoculated to protect my patients. As one of the UK's most trusted doctors, I was requested to appear on Good Morning Britain to help tackle vaccine hesitancy amongst high-risk ethnic minority groups. 5 months later, a personal tragedy triggered a complete U-turn in my perception of the vaccine. We were dealing with a medical product that was actually unsafe and defective. My fit and healthy 73-year-old father, honorary vice president of the British Medical Association, who also happened to be my best friend and last surviving member of my immediate family, died after suffering an unexpected cardiac arrest. Post-mortem findings revealed severe coronary artery disease, and subsequent published mechanistic evidence suggested that 2 doses of the mRNA COVID vaccine likely caused a massive acceleration in atherosclerosis, leading to his sudden death. In 2022, I published a 2-part peer-reviewed paper in the journal.
And what's wrong with just admitting that? Because a lot of people, like, when you, like, here is another thing, too, that's divided the people. It's like, people would say, you can't say that it's giving more people heart attacks. It's like, well, we're seeing kind of more heart attacks. Like, why not address the problem like adults? Why are you saying don't trust the science when we can, like, look into it more? Like, here's the thing, twat. Science is always changing. It's evolving. We're getting new data. We're doing more. Half of these people who are scientists and like global warming stuff, is the environment changing sometimes? Yeah. Did the oceans rise and do all the shit that they told you? No. Did the people who make that that hockey stick graph, the Sierra Club, lie their tits off to get funding? Yes. Do they have plants like MK Ultra people like Greta Thunberg who come in and make fearmonger for you? Yeah. So but a lot of the funding and the people who get the grants, they basically toe the line. They toe the party line because they get paid, and they're just like, I'm basically being a paid shill here, but I get paid, pretty good, and I don't really have to work hard.
Insulin resistance, calling for a moratorium on these unsafe and defective.
A lot of actually like really good scientists and stuff you think about, they're kind of like renegades. Look at Tesla. They're almost trying to who's the guy who was saying the earth is round? That wasn't Newton, was it?
Christopher Columbus, wasn't it? No.
Whatever, the guy who said that the earth was actually round when everyone thought it was flat. At the time, you know what I'm saying? A lot of scientists actually, it's their duty and obligation to go against the grain. That's kind of, Copernicus. Thank you, Wado. Yeah, Copernicus did it. Even philosophers like Diogenes, what did he do? He basically lived like a dog. He didn't really wear clothes much. He didn't follow any rules. He would go walking around with a light saying, are there any humans here? Do we have any humans with a soul here? He'd walk around. So he's basically being a troll because he believed in what he did so much. that he's willing to not be paid and stuff like that because he believed that he was right in in his philosophical point. Wasn't Plato or Socrates also somewhat poor? One of them was actually like kind of somewhat poor, and they were comparing him to King Solomon or another philosopher, just another philosopher of the time. But what he would do, he would just always ask questions, and he would question people enough so where the questions didn't really mean anything. So he would be like, he'd actually be asking, like, taking something like COVID and questioning it to the point where, like, you'd be like, he's giving you wisdom, but what is wisdom? Wisdom is realizing you actually don't really know that much. Like, even us collectively as humans, we actually don't really know that much. And all it takes is like a couple little pieces of information to change all that. So, like, you actually don't really know a lot. So that was kind of what he was doing. So, like, he's, not quite a scientist, but a philosopher. But scientists are supposed to question and almost look at something the opposite way. That's like what the scientific method and stuff is. And these scientists and people, like, anyone who's just watching NFL and shit and then telling you, like, you got to trust the science is a complete idiot jerk off. That dude should have some dignity and move off camera. This guy here, maybe. Pattern reaction. Socrates was a shoemaker. Yeah, there's something I forgot. Well, this guy is Greek and actually knows a lot about Greek history and philosophy. That's another thing bad about Joe Rogan. So I'm glad he brought that up. Glorifying weed too much. If you want to smoke weed, cool. But the weed they have now is not like what weed should be. It's basically like hash all the time. And it can make you like a schizophrenic. It can cause psychosis. It triggers psychosis. It makes you paranoid. All the weed that you're having now is some like GMO type weed. It's even called GMO. Around me, the most popular strain is actually called GMO. So, that can kind of make you crazy. Notice during the pandemic, they're like, you can get as high as you want, as drunk as you want in your home. That's just fine. Because we don't really want you thinking too much. So I'm not saying it's bad per se, but Joe Rogan made it seem like edgy if you smoke weed and like somehow you're like an intellectual. You're not. You're just high.
Products. The most damning evidence was a reanalysis of Pfizer and Moderna's original trials. It determined a frequency of serious harm from the product that was 2 to 4 times more likely than being hospitalized with severe COVID. In my view, if the system had been more transparent, this prophylactic gene therapy would likely not have been injected into a single human being in the first place. Although
hear that? Let's hear that again. Let's play that again. Think of how powerful that'd be. We're talking millions of lives.
Again, for those in the back.
Yeah, could have been changed. He's basically saying,
drugs are bad. Okay.
That's basically what he's saying.
If the system had been more transparent, this prophylactic gene therapy would likely not have been injected into a single human being in the first place. Although there is now a multitude of high-quality research supporting those analyses, there's been predictable little to any mainstream media coverage, a symptom of the downstream effects of how big corporations...
Again, mainstream media now is basically as big pharma as like propaganda, commercial making machine. Only in the United States and New Zealand are they allowed to like give commercials about drugs. Like, here's Wegovy, and now you can finally see your bastard kid every other weekend and play catch with him when you just were like, in a power scooter before or something like that. So a lot of it, everything. So that's another thing too. We are trained as rats to be consumers. You need to fix yourself. You need to take something new. You need to take something new. You need to consume something, take it in. The opposite is true. Just stop eating, start fasting, stop buying the sugar, stop buying the bullshit, turn off the TV, turn off the media, unplug your wireless internet. Make a garden, go swimming, turn your phone off, break your phone. Shit like that. They will never do that.
Exert their power by controlling the dominant narrative. I have personal experience with these downstream effects. Towards the end of last year, at the Reform Party political conference, I quoted Britain's most eminent oncologist, Professor Angus Dalgleish. He believes that the COVID mRNA vaccine likely played a significant role in cancers of members of the royal family. Predictably, I was smeared and misrepresented in the media. Even the British...
Someone was just saying that it does contribute to the big C sometime. I didn't know that. I mean, I'm not very surprised, but I actually haven't heard that. I kind of put COVID kind of behind me because I knew nothing happened, and I don't know if something will happen.
Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer misled Parliament, suggesting that I claimed that all vaccines cause cancer. In quotes, "These dangerous conspiracies cost lives," he said. I also experienced public smears and attacks from influential sections of the medical profession. I'm a grieving vaccine-injured doctor. I've been diagnosed with a persistent autoimmune condition related to loss of bifidobacteria in my guts. An advanced blood test suggested I'm at
So the gut bacteria is a huge thing. So 80% or so of your immune system is in your gut. A bunch of where you make serotonin and everything is in your gut. Your gut is has 15 amounts of cells that the rest of your body has. So your guts has its own brain too. It literally has its own brain. Same with the heart, but the gut has its own kind of the brain and detective system. Detection system, which is kind of like a detective, actually.
Slightly increased risk of cancer in the short term. Looking at the totality of up-to-date evidence and what you've heard from eminent witnesses today, in my view, millions of Americans and millions more across the world may be in clear and present danger of suffering premature cardiovascular disease and cancer. Without allowing all scientists to debate this openly, without fear of censure, we will not be able to identify who is most at risk and how these risks can be mitigated. When it comes to making money, multinational corporations have been diagnosed by preeminent forensic psychologist Dr. Robert Hare and law professor Joel Buchan as legal entities that fulfill the criteria for psychopathy. Characteristics include callous unconcern for the safety of others, incapacity to experience guilt, repeated...
So what is he saying there? They're acting, these pharmaceutical companies, corporations. So once you get they're acting as a sociopath. So a corporation is not an individual; it's a group of individuals. And when he's saying psychopathies, he's saying sociopathy, which means sociopathic, and that's true. You are cattle to them, Goy. You're just cattle.
Lying and conning others for profit. The evidence presented here today exposes the corporate tyranny underlying public health practice. This profitability over people rooted in the neoliberal economic model has led to trust being an all-time low in the medical profession. A full public apology from government bodies and medical leadership to the vaccine injured and bereaved is an essential first step in restoring that trust. Tyranny emerges when people are afraid to say what they think. When you have something to say, silence is a lie. When everyone lies all the time, the tyranny is complete. To save the health of the American people and to save democracy, it is our responsibility to expose, resist, and dismantle the era of corporate tyranny we currently find ourselves in. Thank you.
Dr. Mahal.
As a scientist, that's what, I think he's speaking in a scientific capacity. So that's what he should be basically doing, is that he's going to encourage his ex-wife to get tell her to get the boosters too. Those help too. Does anybody else want to come up here and say if they had any interesting experiences or what happened with their COVID thing? Again, guys, try to code the language as much as possible. I've been swearing a little bit, but I can swear. It's my show, and I'm willing, if I lose it or get something happen, that's because I did it. So I appreciate if everyone codes the language as much as possible. which you guys pretty much have been.
I got a cousin that died from the injections.
Really? You want to talk a little bit about it?
Sure. So I have this uncle, and that's in Alberta. I won't say his name, but he was an occupational health doctor. And he has been going around convincing everybody to take the injection.
Hey, since he's from Canada, we'll call him Uncle Puck.
Anyway, anyway, what was happening is that he tried to convince everybody in the family to take the injections, that they were safe and everything's good. And it came to the point where my mom and dad just pretty much had enough of him and said, you know what, stop bothering us with this.
Yeah.
My mom and dad were the only ones, as far as I know, in each of their families that never took the injections, thanks to me for warning them. And I'd like to extend my thanks to David Icke for saving my life on that one. And but anyway, what ended up happening is I guess during spring break in Calgary, my uncle and my aunt and my cousin there decided to fly to Mexico for a spring break vacation. Of course, in Canada, you had to take the injections before you could leave because that's what they do. You can't step on a plane without that. So that's what they did. They shot themselves up. And then they get over to Mexico. I guess they got themselves settled in there. And a day later, my cousin doesn't show up for breakfast. So my aunt goes to his hotel room, opens up the door, and finds that he's still sleeping. So he tried to call him out, didn't wake up. So she pokes him in the arm, and he just regurgitates a huge pile of blood all over the damn place. So he bled internally all night until he died.
Wow.
So what ended up, and it gets even worse than that too, right? So what ends up happening?
Did they try to blame it on like a parasite or food poisoning or something?
No, I'm getting to it.
Okay.
So they get to the coroners and they do an autopsy on this kid, and they find he had an ulcer. And you know that's full of shit, because if this kid had an ulcer, that literally killed him overnight like that, then he would have been in such excruciating pain, he would have never been able to get out of bed, let alone on a plane.
We would have had so much inflammation on the top of his gut or something like that. You would have seen it.
Yeah,
I think you can usually kind of see sometimes. Depends on what type of ulcer, but I think sometimes you can see an ulcer. Well, it depends on where ulcers are, but I think if it's a stomach one, you can kind of like almost see it because it's like trying to like get out of your skin almost, like because it's like a bump. It's like a bump, you know.
You wouldn't be able to move because you'd been in such excruciating pain.
So he wouldn't even have wanted to go on a vacation and go on a plane
exactly,
and all that shit.
You couldn't move, and that would have not taken all night. That would have taken weeks to get to that far. There's no way in hell you're going to bleed that much overnight and call it an ulcer, and that you didn't know. That's not going to happen. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, so now things get worse for him. Eh? So he's got this. My cousin there had two half brothers, and I don't know why I said that. One of them was in the UAE. As he was teaching English to those sand people over there, and before he was married to a woman in China, but that didn't go over very well for him. So he flies back to Canada.
Looks like she hit the Great Wall.
Yeah. So he flies back to Canada, and he's getting ready for my cousin's funeral. And that's when they were in Victoria, BC, and he used hash because he was using hash to get to sleep in the UAE properly. He goes and gets hash to go and get to sleep, and now this guy's dead because he just smoked weed laced with fentanyl. So now we have two dead cousins, all within the span of a month. And the third one is the middle between the two of them. And he had a major drug addiction. So he got himself stabbed in the back of the spine with a drug deal that went wrong. And so he's kind of hanging into his dear life right now to this very day. So I don't know. He's kind of a bit of a train wreck. So now my uncle, who pushed all of this shit on everybody, very well might lose all three of these children. So
Wow.
yeah, that's a hell of a story.
Yeah, bad things happen in threes sometimes.
Well, the thing is, he was a doctor. He was well known around Alberta to be this particular type of doctor, and we all warned him that this technology is not safe. You are expected as a doctor to know all the details before you prescribe a medication. My mother, who was a nurse practitioner for 40 years and was working with geriatrics here, would not prescribe that technology to any of her patients because it said very clearly on the data sheets, experimental. Okay, because she read the documentation, and you do not provide experimental medication to elderly people. And she was very clear about that. Well, if you're dealing with an experimental medication, what business do you have handing that shit out like hotcakes? And you're a doctor. You're supposed to know better, and as a result, it costs you your family.
Yeah, well, that's it's
Karma.
ego too. It's ego
also-
and stuff. It's also like saying like, who are you to know how could you possibly know anything? I am more educated than you are, and shit like that. So like that's also kind of a part of it too.
Well,
is,
it's all yeah. Well, he not just ego. Well, karma took out his family. If he issued that shit out to everybody else, and now it cost him his own.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So what have you talked to him since? What does he do now? Does he
Well, he's still an occupational doctor, but you can see that my aunt and uncle they're changed. They're very quiet about it. They never, ever since I've seen them once when they do come in and out of Manitoba, never once did they mention this medication. They don't talk about it. But you can see that there's a sort of lifelessness in his eyes when he looks at us. It's kind of hard to describe, but he knows that he did something wrong, but he certainly won't talk about it. He's keeping it pretty quiet.
Yeah, that's crazy. I want to also put out that that zeolite stuff that I was talking about. That is used in some vax recovery or vax mitigation protocols that some doctors use. Just FYI. So that the link I put in there can give you some money off on it, but like that is really valuable. So you like does he like come over for like your Thanksgiving and shit like that, or your family like no one talks to each other anymore or anything like
No,
that, or
they still come over like for Thanksgiving and stuff and see their family and but I'm very mindful as to not bring anything like this up because you kind of get the impression that this guy kind of already learned his lesson and there's nothing to gain from rubbing anything in his face,
But being more right, yeah. So he just looks dead in his eyes. He looks like this.
You know the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes. Black eyes, like a doll's eye.
Yeah.
When he comes at you, don't seem to be living until he bites you. And those black eyes roll over white.
Yeah, that's it's crazy, but also too some people have to kind of learn the hard way or something like that. I mean, everybody had their own individual choice to do it. They chose, maybe they shouldn't have gone to Mexico and they should just say like, hey, they had to wait. It was still their choice. It's not, of course they didn't think anything like that would happen, but they could say, you know what, hey, I might just skip the trip to Mexico right now because I really don't want to take the shot. But I think that, like I said, I was dating a chick that, this was like after the pandemic. But she said that she took it just so she could go to some festival. So it's like, so you sold out. She's like, I didn't take it all. I don't trust them. She's like, but I did take it so I could go to the festival. So you sold out to do something like that. So, you know, a lot of people are doing stuff like that. Homeless people are going to outlive everybody with no vaccines or anything like that.
I also got another interesting story too to tell about the situation. I thought it was really quite funny.
Sure.
So just at the beginning of the scamdemic, like we just hit week 1 of the
Oh,
2
just like, you know, the only thing, you know, like what happened to that cocky doctor, your uncle?
You will pay for what you've done, and I pray that God send angels to visit vengeance upon you.
But think about it. If he encouraged that to other people, someone else may have lost their sons.
It's very well, yes. It's a very serious possibility.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying anyone deserves that, but I'm saying that is real. So instead of letting people decide for themselves as an adult, their body, their choice, and whatnot, they pushed all this. And I'm sure some of these people got a small kickback for pushing the vax. You know, doctors get kickbacks. Well, I know in America they do. They get kickbacks for prescribing medications and shit like that. So I would not be surprised if he's saying like, "Oh, you have to take this brand of it. Get it, but you got to do this brand." And tell them, here's my QR code. For, you know, use promo code vengeance. Use promo code, you know, spaghetti string in your vein.
I got another funny story too. So, like I said, this took place at week 1 of, you know, 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Okay. And at the time I was contacting a counselor because I was a psychologically depressed mess. Always kind of was. And I told one of the counselors that, listen, like, I need help to talk to you because I just lost everything that ever mattered to me. It's just like, well, what's going on here? And it's like, well, you know, I've locked out. And it's, oh, so you're going through grief. It's just like, yeah. Well, I told him what was going to happen every single step of the way. Like, I told you that we're going to have lockdowns, that there's going to be a forced injection to come through, that we're going to have, it's going to keep going and going and going, and we're going to end up with tyrannical government and so on and so forth. And of course, the psychologist out there, she's just writing all this shit down, eh? And she says, I guess she didn't quite believe anything that I was going to tell her, right? But I was very, very particular about all the steps that was going to happen. I told her that there would be police in the streets. I would tell her that there would be considerable amount of lockdowns. I'm going to tell her that all these people lost their job. I'm going to, you know, it just like everything from her perspective was absolutely laughable and impossible. And she's just like, yeah, okay. So a couple months later, as I got deeper into this situation, I get a call from the other counselor. It's like, yeah, or keep going. It's like, you know what she said about you? He says that you have unusual belief systems or unusual views of the world, eh?
This is him in there. He's like this.
Yeah.
Liberal,
Yeah.
liberal, happy fun, la la la, human smuggling, fentanyl gas.
Yeah, but this gets even funnier, eh? So I haven't talked to them in a long time, and then now we're well.
Batshit, dirty old twat. 69.
No, that was the wrong.
Now we're really into the scamdemic, eh? And now you know what ends up happening is I get a call back from these counselors. Okay, now we're almost 2 years or something into this, eh? It's now like 2023 or whatever. No, 2022 or whatever it is. And I get a call back from these guys. And I never even scheduled time for about 1.5 years with these guys, eh? And next thing you know, now all of these counselors are starting to ask me for help. And they're like, what are you asking for me for? Like, I'm the guys that I'm coming to you for help, not the other way around. It's just like, yes, But the counselor you were talking to, apparently everybody else has been saying a lot of stuff exactly the way you were saying it. The only problem is that you had this. You seem to have known the exact step, phrase by phrase, step by step, for the course of the next couple of years, all in one setting, and we don't even know how.
I read Agenda 21 in this shit.
Yeah,
I've been telling you every goddamn thing. That's
exactly.
another thing. They have literally Agenda 21, and they did like a pre-run trial of this shit.
I know.
Before this, like
I had a copy of it. Yeah, I know. I had a copy.
And it was
of
like public information too. I think they would like
Yeah.
record the meetings and shit. Like, they probably live streamed it on YouTube. You can like write. You can like super chat them. You can do like super chat. Like, but yeah, if you start understanding the writing on the wall and putting a few pieces together, they tell you the shit.
Yeah, I know.
They show you they're gonna do it. And these women are like, it was probably women psychologists. Like, what is
Yeah,
this?
it was. Well, it was one
What is
woman,
this?
one
Is this
guy.
like? Yeah, they're probably like, this is like they probably thought you were like, this is like the Da Vinci Code shit or something. They thought you're like some autistic that like knows how to like, do some crazy skill or some shit. They're like, oh my God, he's like prophetic or something like that.
Yeah, I had a MATLAB script that I created. So what I went in is I took all the predictions out of David Icke's book. What's it called? What was it? Everything you need
One
to
of
know.
his
but we're
various
never
one of
told.
his various books.
No.
Yeah.
It's everything you need to know, but we're never told. And I created a MATLAB script of a whole pile of true and false probabilities. And then so as time goes on, I just you can see the graph of the probability scale increasing on my screen as I keep going through all the different check marks of the script. And so basically all I just went down is I read this entire script over to these counselors, and they're like, what the hell is going on here? And then, like I said, then they called me up and they asked me for help. Just like, listen, I took all this injection shit so that I can save my job and all that. What the hell do I need to do to help fix myself up, or what's going on here? Because
and then Matt goes like this. He's like,
the other counselor.
You will pay for what you've done, and I pray that God send angels to visit vengeance upon you.
So they were calling you asking for help?
Yeah. I did it. I was literally outside shoveling snow off the end of my dock so I can make an ice rink for my neighbor. And I come back in and the phone rings on my cottage. And so I pick it up and I'm like, and it's the counselors. They're asking me for help. It's like, what the hell? It's supposed to be the other way around. I'm supposed to go to you for help. You're supposed to have all the goddamn answers. now you need help from your clients? That doesn't sound right. It sounds like you're a pretty piss poor counselor.
Yeah. That's crazy. So were you able to kind of help them or not? Are you going to say like, I'm going to show you the real shit?
Yeah.
Did you like, what did you do? Like, so they became open-minded, but like, what did they like, you just give them advice over the phone or?
Well, yeah, I gave them over the phone because I was not in Manitoba at the time, but what was happening, what they were freaking out because it's not just from me. Like I had the most detailed layout of what was going to happen over the course of 3 years, step by step, because I had a script on my computer that broke it down for me. Everybody else was telling you very similar, the same things, all their other clients, but not to the same extent that I was going at them. Like they had the entire instruction manual.
Yeah, like the prophecy, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And she's looking at she would go back to my file all the time and start looking at all the things she was writing down and saying about it. So it's like this has happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, exactly how it's. And all her other clients, because she can't talk about it because it's confidential, were all saying very similar things that I said. I just had the most amount of detail. And she had it literally sitting there in her file on her desk, and she was freaking out because she didn't know what to do.
Yeah, they call Matt up. They're like, everything you kept talking, that Agenda 21 stuff you're talking about, all of it's happening, and I took the shot. Matt's like, then he hangs up, and they call him again. and they're like, please, we need help with this, and he's just like,
terrorists win.
Yeah.
It's like, remember how you were calling me schizophrenic and stuff? Who's that way now?
Yeah. Oddly enough, I never got any more word back from those counselors, and I'm like, yeah, well, I guess I no longer need you anymore.
They're probably dead. They're probably dead.
They're probably
dead. Matt hangs up the phone, and it's like 2 years later.
Yeah.
And they're just in the grave. They're just in the grave.
Drugs are bad.
Max is bad. Okay. Oh man, that's bad. You should see like on LinkedIn or something if they're still like alive, or they may be dead.
Yeah, maybe I have to go find them and see if I can find that information again.
Yeah, they like just try to say like you need more help. Like reach out to them at like a personal, like I'm assuming they maybe called on a personal phone because they were already fired or something, or
no, there was a business phone.
A business phone?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if you call the business, they can just say like, "Hey, I wanted to reach out to them" or something like that, and just see because think about that. If they actually did die, you actually did say something that was truly prophetic, and they didn't want to. No, I'm serious. Matt was like this. He's like.
Agenda 21 is real. If you take the vax, you are cooked, my son.
And they just didn't want to believe anything. So,
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like they take it, and then like 2 days later, their immune system's like, I'm actually itchy. Now I'm bleeding from the ass. Now I'm bleeding from my eyes. These are all regular side effects. I can still go to work. It's fine.
Yeah.
The migrants are the replacement for you, and there's a ton of those. As down here we call mudslingers. So I have an appointment that I need to do at 8:00, so I need to call this a night for now. This was a good live. Maybe actually after the appointment I'll continue it, but because I want to hear other people's stories about it. Like those are Matt's stories. I didn't really have too crazy of a. I mean, I lost some friends as far as like friendships. I made a really good friend, probably my best friend and business partner. I made it at the place where I lived. Like you could go kind of shooting at because I lived at kind of like this mountain place where other people lived too, and he would knock on my door and we would go shooting where I was living. But then he ended up getting COVID, and I said, "Hey, man, like I can buy you some like groceries and stuff and leave them at your door." And now, like, we became really good friends. So
the friends you lost weren't really friends anyway.
Yeah, COVID kind of showed you who your real friends were and who's going to help you and stuff like that. Let's see what Dancer77 says. I told one of my close friends not to take it. He took 2. He says now on a weekly basis his nose bleeds. Before he never had nosebleed. Yeah. Yep. It's not too interesting. Yeah, this was a really good live, but I have to go do something at 8, which sucks. I don't really want to go do it, but I'm gonna keep my commitment. So
yeah,
maybe after that, I'll come on and do a little more time because I actually kind of want to get up and walk around too.
Yeah, and thanks for not leaving my mom hanging. I'll let her know you're on your way.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry. I'll give her. I got another booster coming her way. I gave her all kinds of injections.
She belongs to the streets.
And there's an oral injection too.
Chicken.
So you don't have to take the shot. You can take the oral injection.
Chicken.
Look, that's the benefit of dentures. You can always take them out.
Yeah. And then you don't even need to do this to it. You can just take the dentures out. You don't even need to.
You gotta get that.
Yep, you don't need to do that. You just give a little dentine to it. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Go back and listen to the live. We actually covered a lot of cool stuff. And let's do a summary of some shit that we went over. I told you about the herb cat's claw. I told you about zeolite right here. This helps you recover from the vax. What does it do? Detox heavy metals and radiation. Gets the pH the right way. Helps eliminate brain fog and Tylenol brain. Helps promote optimal immune function, all that. Okay, I have the link for it, and I'll put it up again. We talked about that. The cat's claw. I told you about the Kennedys being a shill. RFK is a shill. It's an act. He's a Kennedy. He's not gonna help anybody. He's not gonna take Red 40 out of anything. None of that's gonna happen. We heard Seagrip's story, Matt's story. This guy had one. Carlos, I believe, had a story. Red Door had to leave her job because she refused to take it. Let's see. This guy was talking a lot. Junior. Let me go through who else maybe possibly said their story. So, the Discord. Let me plug the Discord because I keep forgetting to do that. And I showed you on the Discord these other books: How to Purify Water, Immune System book, Iodine. This is the shit that holistic medicine. If you'd simply downloaded these onto a thumb drive, you don't even need to take the shot. Why? Because you have a good functioning immune system. That's why. Okay? Here is the Discord link. Join my Discord. We have a lot of cool stuff in there. We just don't do all cat memes and stuff. And I'll stay on exactly till 8. Fuck it. What else do I want to cover here? Yes, this guy pretending to... Like I said, this is an act, guys.
Pandemic, you got rich, didn't you? You got rich. While people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. And not only were you doing that, you were using
That's
federal...
another thing we went over. It's one of the biggest wealth transfers of the past, basically of the 2020s. One of the biggest wealth transfers, upward wealth. A ton of scams happened. We know that.
Employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally. Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you? That's a question.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
You remember Greg Folkers? Who was that?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Your chief of staff is the...
Yeah, thank you, DFL. Yeah, check out the Discord. Okay, we cover a diverse range of stuff on this channel, but I want you to actually walk away. I want you to laugh at something, but I kind of want you to walk away with something too. So we just don't talk about like bullshit all the time. Like, I don't want to just talk about 304s constantly and stuff.
Answer. Do you remember Patricia Conrad? Who was that?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
She was your personal assistant. And what were these individuals doing in the depth of the pandemic in November of 2020, when millions of Americans were suffering from COVID? What were they doing? I tell you what they're doing. Folkers was on your behalf soliciting and gathering information for a cash award. Let's look at it. We've got his email right here, right over my shoulder. Volker says, I'm working on this nomination for the Dan David Award for Fauci. We need to beef up the COVID part. Do you have language in the can that you can share that delineates how we responded in new ways to COVID? He sends this to multiple federal employees. What was the Dan David Award? Do you remember, Doc?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
It was a $900,000 cash award. $900,000 cash award. And he got it.
Also, too, remember when he was making like a documentary? He's like, oh, I've been so busy making fucking work, trying to help people. How about you stop making the documentary about yourself and do your job? That's what you should have been doing.
Because he used federal employees to get it. And this wasn't the only award, was it, Dr. Fauci? In fact, you applied for and received at least 8 other federal cash prizes on federal time using federal employees and federal resources.
So, again, I'm going to end it on this because I do actually kind of need to go. What happened to Flint, Michigan water poisoning? Nothing. What happened to the East Palestine, train accidents and chemicals going all the way? Nothing. Poisoning the public is nothing new. This just happens to be maybe one of the grander scale ones where people are saying it, but like this happens all the time and no one's really getting in trouble for it. So I don't know why everyone thinks. I'm glad we went and talked over this. Math, because it's a show. It's theater. This is theater. Nothing's going to happen. Like, I'm glad C-Grip said we should cover this, but we actually more talked about our personal stories rather than most of this. This was just a gateway to talk about how, so another thing that we learned, CNN, Fox, most of those basically are a commercial system of commercials for Big Pharma. Up to 80% of the commercials are basically Big Pharma commercials. Anderson Cooper gets 80% of his paychecks from Big Pharma, not from CNN. Most of his pay comes from Big Pharma. He's not hawking a pill, but on his show that everyone likes, that's all they do is hawk pills. Dante also told us a ton of the pharmaceutical industry actually is in New Jersey. We learned that too. And we also learned...
Gotcha, babe. Okay.
And we learned that... Matt's family member didn't listen, and his uncle had like all his kids basically cooked because he wanted to take that vacation and stuff like that. So we might still see some karma come around for all the people who said you're stupid for not doing it or something like that. That might be coming. Like, we don't know. That's the point of why some of us didn't take it, because we don't know how long it was going to be. Nice math, man. I like it. Yeah. It's less. So what's dangerous about, I'll end on this one thing. What's dangerous about these is a ton of the vaccinations is some medicine is actually a little bit of poison sometimes. That's how some medicines work.
All medicines are poison. It's just a matter of when and how much.
But also keep in mind, one thing that was definitely insidious about that whole shot stuff was you signed away any right to sue. That if you got jacked up or anything like that, you literally relinquished any legal recourse you had. And to me, that was even more crappy, because your job could make you do it and lose your job. But if you got if there was any type of negative aftermath or effects or anything like that, you had no legal recourse. Couldn't sue your job, couldn't sue them, or couldn't sue the manufacturer. You forgot about that part about the whole thing. Where else have you ever seen the ability to take bad medicine or take medicine, have a bad effect, and not be able to sue.
Every time you hear Seagrip use the word insidious, there should be an evil villain laugh track.
No,
Yeah,
it was.
Carlos, do the zeolite. Like on the, I did a video about it. It wasn't necessarily pertaining to the vax. Oh yeah, I also said we talked about Lyme. How that is a government created thing that was a very similar scenario to this on Plum Island and stuff like that in New York, and how that zeolite can help clear up Lyme. And I gave you a couple things you can do for Lyme disease with the cat's claw, the zeolite, and like why you would do it. So, you know, we all have to like I detox myself with that zeolite stuff all the time. Cause it helps with allergies and a bunch of other stuff, but like pulling the metals out, the metals is really what messes a lot up. Like we need some metals in the body in the form of minerals, but we don't need, you know, mercury and shit like that in there. Like, and that's what they think is in a lot of these vaccines, but they're like, oh, it's so controversial to say it. It's like, well, if you were to read, we didn't even go and read any of the vaccine packet stuff. The packet, you know how like there'll be like a 75-page long packet with all like the chemicals and stuff on stuff. No one reads that. That probably has like lizard blood, a whole bunch of stuff in there. Like God only knows what's actually in those. So
Eye of Newt.
Yeah. So okay, I have to go because I have to do something at 8 my time. But maybe I'll come on afterward and other people can share their story and whatnot. Maybe we'll continue on this because this is going really well. So thanks so much. Subscribe if you're new, and I think I'll probably be back on later. See ya. Thank you.